Hello and good evening, all of you Ricci enthusiasts out there. I am Tucker, sometimes known as Ennui, and I am joined by our so persevering broadcast director, Nathaniel. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing great. Looking forward to what should be a very interesting B1 matchup here between Aldwin, Gauhan, Michael, and Greg. We see, of course, in the standings, Aldwin in fourth place, plus 77.8, uh, pulling his best 10-hole impression, 222 and 0 fourths. Gauhan and Michael just outside of that zone. Of course, they're kind of near zero, so had a very middling season. Lots of ones and fours in their standings. Actually, Galhan with a very interesting four firsts and four fourths that won second place, putting him over into the positive territory. Michael doing it in a slightly different area, same number of firsts and fourths, but a lot of thirds, and that's likely why he's slightly below. And
Well, but even still, I feel like when you only have two first and seconds and fives, thirds, and fourths, only having minus 8.8 is a pretty huge achievement.
yeah, that must have been a very strong first. And finally, Greg, currently in the demotion zone, but has fewer games played than a couple of the other players at this table, so can easily compensate for the current negative position with a couple strong games in this series.
And this, I don't know if this hand's gonna be the one to do it for Greg at least across the table. Gonna be competing with Aldwin's hand looks okay. Now it looks a lot better, but it just doesn't have enough shapes even still. Like I know you can count the 3 3 3 4 mon as two blocks, but it's typically less efficient to do so unless you absolutely have to.
Yeah, Al, as the dealer, of course, wants to repeat, has that door to south, and is going to be like a little bit awkward, as you say, trying to build shapes here and also play for the Dora and everything else. There's a decent chance this just turns into Richinomi as some of these floating tiles draw accompaniments. On the right, Gauhan has a ton of Sozu. Will that turn into a Honitsu? We'll find out. A flush.
It looked kind of like Galhan. I mean, Galhan started with a bunch of terminals and honors in hand, or a bunch of honors, I should
Mm-hmm.
say, and might have just taken the route with this hand that, okay, this hand's going to be slow. If I make it a Honitsu, I can speed it up with calls and also get more value out of this potentially slow hand.
Yeah, and I was like to say when the Dora is an honor, Honitsu is in the Dora suit. So gonna hold on to that south and see how it works. Across the way, Greg's hand looks better. It's got a lot of pairs though. Chico Ishanten.
And normal hand two Shanten,
Mm-hmm. Michael on the
because you could
left.
open up for simples.
Yeah, Michael Ishanten on the left for a very classic Ricci Pinfu. Has to start to worry about these so tiles, and of course Al has to worry about this south still in hand. He is technically Ishanten here, but needs to find a 3-pin badly.
I mean, as Galhan, if you get Tempai, do you discard the South for the Chinitsu?
Oh, that'll
It's
be
a
an
Mongon either
interesting.
way.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
discards it. It was safe to Michael,
mhm.
so
And Michael didn't end up drawing into the Pinfu, just Richinomi. But good weight, 2-5 so. Although looking at the Anko of 5 so in Greg's hands, maybe not so strong. Well, this could be
and
called for Chinitsu Tempai. I think Gaohan will take it. I mean, Formon looks terrible, but it's a Mongon.
and the 9, so there's only one left in the wall, but it is in the wall. It's not trapped in anyone's hand at the moment.
And Greg can't drop the second 8 so after that call. Al finds the 3-pin, but it's too late. He's already given up on this hand. Gaohan continues to push. The door has come out, so we're not really afraid of Michael's hand.
Ooh.
It's a better weight than the 9 so, right? Oh, I guess it's actually hell weight as well, but slightly safer.
Right. The especially with the 8 so having been called.
And in the end, we'll go to Ryukyoku unless Gaohan switches, thinking the 2-pin's too dangerous. The 2 so does look very safe. It's one chance. And it comes out!
Oh!
Richie Nomi. Galhan did not believe the two so was going to come out from anyone else. Was trying to find the safest cut, and the
Yeah,
Pinzu
well,
did seem a little bit more
no,
dangerous.
it was kind of an interesting spot to be in because the 2 pin was so close to the Ricci tile, the 4 pin, and a 1 pin had been discarded a little bit earlier, which makes it seem like 2-5 is a really dangerous Suji set there. But at the same time, one chance doesn't really mean anything when there's only one tile left in the wall because
Right.
there's pretty much only one of every tile left, really.
Yeah, and Galhan did get hit that badly with it, just 1300. And we'll have the dealership now to make that up and maybe with some extra. The door's the Chun. He's got one of them in hand. And the shapes exist in this hand. Dian Shan 10. They're not necessarily the best ones, and currently the Chun is likely to come out. Oh, that's an improvement though. Now you've got all diamond shapes, although two of them overlap in the Manzu.
Yeah. So do you wanna comment for a second on why having the 2-3 and the 5-6, even though we have three Ryaman shapes here, makes that quite a bit weaker?
Yeah, of course you'd love your diamond shapes. It's two-sided. You get 8 tiles of acceptance. Say this 2-3 so accepts the 1 and the 4, or sorry, the 2-3 mon accepts the 1 and the 4 mon. That's 8 tiles, barring the one that was just discarded. The 5-6 also accepts 8 tiles, the 4 mon and the 4-7 mon. But of course the 4 mon overlaps with the 2-3 and the 5-6. So you're losing essentially 4 tiles of acceptance. If that diamond was in another suit, you'd have a full 16 tiles that you're accepting. Now you only get 12. So it's slightly worse than having two separate diamond. In fact, Galhan will just cut away from the 5-6 immediately as this hand shifts towards Sochinitsu again.
It's gonna be hard to get rid of that 2-3 mon, I think. Like having a Ryanman this close to Tempai that you're getting rid of. But
Yep.
yeah, especially now that you've completed the shape.
Yeah, with this future Ricci could be a little bit awkward unless we draw an Anko of the 6 or 7 so. Oh, and there's the 7 mon, so both shapes would have completed. We haven't looked at the rest of the table. Greg has paired up the Chun and is now sitting Dia Shantem. Across the way, Michael still holding on to that red dragon, not willing to discard it, especially this late. You imagine somebody's paired it up by now. Galhan
Hump.
will, as dealer, try to fight from Ishanten, and that will lead to Greg opening the hand for a potential Mungon. Ishanten now with Red Dragon and Dora 3 at that.
Aldwin also has a very potentially dangerous hand. Could be Tanyao, Pinfu, Sanshoku. Although if they end up with the 5-6-7 Sanshoku there, more than likely won't be Pinfu.
Right. Oh, this 5. Is it helpful? Yes, it is. Greg can cheat this with a 6-7 and or the 3-4. Got the 9.
Now all of the 6s are in hand. None of them are visible to Greg.
That just means Greg can sumo on the Sanzo. This is an interesting spot for Galhan. Decides to take the overlapping diamond shapes in the Sozu this time. 3-4 and 6-7. And this direction also allows you to shift to Chinitsu and some draws.
Yeah, this is so if you're Galhan, would you be concerned at all about Greg having a possible Honitsu? Because with Greg not calling the 5-6 or 7 that you've discarded previously, it kind of takes some of that edge off, even though the first Manzu discarded wasn't until the very end of the second row.
I 100% agree, and also the early honor discards lead me to believe that it's less likely to be Honitsu as well. Those two factors combined. Al, with the Ricci on the left, it's just Ricci Tanya waiting with an Entotsu shape. 5-pinned, 8-pinned, and 8 so. But again, it's a battle against a Mangon on the right.
Well, and this is Tempai, isn't it? Yeah, waiting on 5 so?
Yeah, on the 5 so. But the 5-pin comes out, and Greg will deal into Al's Tanya to check the Uda. But currently it looks like just 26, and indeed, that will be the total. Some very exciting hands to open this game out, but
it's
only
the small ones that are winning.
Multiples of 1300. Now Greg, the dealer, Ooh, what a great fill for your second draw.
What do you discard here?
Kind of torn between the 1 pin and the 3 pin. Goes to the 5 pin, kind of setting up 1, 2, 3 Sanchoku potentially.
I was gonna say 3 pin was my instinct as well to get the Ryoncon shape there.
Yeah, that's the one I think I prefer too. We're saddled with a few pairs. I think we're going to cut one of them. Two so back is fine. But okay, there's lots of options for Greg here. We'll see what he ends up doing on the right. Michael has so many honors. These tiles do not spark joy. Even the Dora is in a really efficient 1-4 shape. Did I say efficient when I meant inefficient? It's going to be tough for Michael to use that. Across the table, Al. 3 pairs. Dora, again, awkwardly combining with that 4-5 so. And on the left, Gauhan. That looks like a much more reasonable Tanyao Pinshu Sanshoku type hand. 6, 7, 8. Definitely possible there.
If you're Michael and you're trying to think about how to win this hand with the Dora, what would your path be to try and make that happen?
I'm not really a believer in Chanta here, despite having two sequences that are terminal sequences. I think it's just going to be a Ricci and like draw 2 so or 3 so and Ricci with a Kanchan or Penchan. The reason I don't believe in Chanta so much is just that our floating tiles are so good in the inside. And we don't really have floating outside shapes, like 8s or 9s or even 7s. But here's a 7. I guess if we retained that 9-mon, we might be Chanta.
And Galhan's hand has come together quite nicely to now there's only good shapes there.
Oh yeah, found the 7-mon, that's perfect. And so the Sanchoku Dream is still alive.
Discarded that 6-0 so fast, I almost didn't see it. I also am just now realizing that Greg has only Tadashi twice. This is a story of I hate these draws. I hate these draws.
Give me a useful tile.
It's still like what a way with only 2 Tadashi, which is kind of bonkers, but
oh, this is
and there's
Tenpai. Oh wait, we dropped the 8. We dropped the 8, so Sanchoku was already given up on. But that's okay. We get Ricci, Tanyao, Pinshu, Peiko is possible. There's 1 7 so left in the wall, as well as 2 4. Did I say 7 so? 7 mon, as well as 2 4 mon.
Oh, and now if you're Gauhan, you got to feel a lot better about your ability either to sumo the 7-mon or to win off it, just because you know that no one can really use it that effectively, because Gauhan has 2 6-mon in hand and 2 in the discard pool.
Yeah, Michael especially really stuck on this 5-7 Kanchan. But he just wants to get out of this one. Recognizes he doesn't have the value, doesn't really have the hand to fight with. Oh, but it's Tenpai.
All of a sudden, a good draw for the first time.
Yeah, 2-pin may be a little bit too scary to push. And he still can find Tenpai, drawing the 2-pin. How about a 5-pin instead? We'll have Haite. Can pass the Haite off to someone else.
Discard the safe 6-0. Yeah. Man, I do really love pulling that maneuver personally.
Yeah, in the end, Gauhan will not get the win, but will pick up 3,000 points in no 10 payments. And that will send us into East 4, Michael's first chance in the dealer seat. Haipai looks promising. You've got the Callable Haku, you've got a Dora that you can build around, and there are reasonable shapes here.
Home.
Yeah, and since you have 8s in all the suits, you can even dream of an 8 involved Sanshoku of some sort, as long as you're able to draw next to that Dora.
Absolutely, and of course, you want to draw on the Dora anyway, so might as well dream on. Looks like the dream's dying, though, and the most efficient discard is almost certainly the very sad Dora. So Michael will instead choose the second.
Chi.
And hedge this Dora for as long as possible.
How do you feel about keeping the Dora here?
I mean, Haku
instead of
only
taking the
is...
perfect Ishan. Oh,
Yeah,
I guess it wasn't perfect Ishan 10. That 8 pin, or that 6 pin, I mean, rather. We don't have another pair in hand.
right. And you can just pair up the Dora. It would have been an amazing pull, and I kind of like this play. Now we're getting into the second row, so it gets a little bit scarier to hold this Dora, but we'll see. Michael, I'm sure, is looking around at the rest of the table and trying to determine how close
Each.
everyone is to Tenpai, and well, maybe got held it a little bit too long. Can't drop it now, but we drew a connector, so that means still possible to use it.
And that is a Ricci, Pinfu, possible Dora 1 for Greg, waiting 5 mon, 8 mon.
Yeah, one Dora left in the wall, 2 5-mons in the wall as well. The 2 Ricci sticks and the home ball as well, really attractive as dealers try to pick up here. You can justify 3 Pitsuji. Question is, if he finds Tenpai, will the Forso come out? Currently just dancing around. Everyone else also pretty much bailing. No one really taking this fight.
You can see 3 5 so, which again, so late in the round.
Michael takes this, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Dora
The
indicator
one chance 7 so passed.
looks really suspicious against you. Of course, it's Genbutsu to the reach.
Sumo.
There's the sumo on Dora, no less.
Takame reached Sumo beneath Dora. Ura would be Mangan. Misses, though. Not a bad hit, and gets a multiple of 1300 again. 52 for Greg, and he jumps into the lead with that sumo.
Yeah, I was about to say something slightly contradictory, and with that sumo going to South 1, we're all tied, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
we're not, but it feels like it.
It really does. I mean, if you take Greg's points, that's over 30k, and give it to Michael, then pretty much everyone's right at the 30k mark. Al, though, back in the dealer seat in South 1, just over 30,000 points with a really nice looking high pie. Another chance at 234 Sanchoku, or a Sanchoku in this case, the best Sanchoku. But everyone determined to pass this dealership as quickly as possible. Gaohan opening with a Chun, and sitting, well, Ishanten now.
Wow, what a great draw.
Could turn into Soho Nitsu again, apparently Gaohan's favorite. Oh, and I think it's going to move in that direction now. Yeah, 5 pin comes out, and the 6 pin is Dora, so gonna save that one a little bit. Ishanten now for Greg, who also opened up very quickly for a very cheap hand. But Al coming back with a nice 3-so draw. Sanzo Tenpai on 2 5 pin chooses the Dama here with Tanyo Ipeko. Could have also discarded the pin tile and waited 3 6-mon, although much of that weight is eaten up in the hand. Do you like this weight, or would you prefer the other one?
I prefer the 2-5 weight, especially since I prefer the 2-5 weight because the 3-6 we obviously are holding a lot of, and it's, well, that does give us Pinfu.
And also the decision to Dama versus Ricci is quite interesting as well.
But I think maybe the Dama makes sense there because you have 2 people who are, although, I don't know, with 2 people open, you know they're going to be, they are just trying to build their hands. And if you're worried about one of them accumulating a whole bunch of value, but at the same time, they can't play defense.
Right. It's with open hands, it's harder to defend. It also means you're more likely to lose your Ricci stick because they're going to be close to Tenpai as well. The other thing I think Al was considering here was that he could have extended the pin shape to incorporate the 6 pin Dora. I think if he drew the 6 pin, he would have maybe reached the Nobitan that way. But in the end, he pulled in the 2 pin Roan for another multiple of 1300. He got 39 for that. And it's Michael who's opening up on the left now, trying to win Pei Dora 1. Currently Ishanten with improving shapes.
And across the table, Greg has the Haku, but closed. So with a Dora as well, so could get quite a lot of value out of that hand. Just needs to find Tenpai. Is actually going to open it now at Ishanten.
Yeah, I'm actually not that surprised to see this, given how close the score is. You really want to position yourself above 30,000 as the rounds move forward. Maybe I would hesitate to take that 6-0 though, because that is calling from your best shape. I would prefer to open with one of the harder to fill shapes like a 3-mon call or a 6-pin call.
How does Michael already having 2 calls affect that decision for you?
That's a really good point. I do think there is more incentive to speed up your hand when someone has 2 calls. I think I'm not too worried about Michael's hand though, so I'm willing to be a little bit more patient personally. But if we
Ooh.
were closer to the second row, I think I would be more willing to take that call.
Michael's switching up the weight a little bit. Now Rian Khan, Ryanman, Ishan 10, but actually is kind of playing it safe a little bit.
Yeah, I think he realized I never really want to drop this Dora, so I'm just gonna throw it back. He continues to cut the Manzu. His final weight's likely to be in the Manzu, and yet he's discarded so much of it. It's very sneaky.
For the same reason that Michael cut the 6-mon, I actually felt like Greg maybe shouldn't have cut the 6-mon. Because with the 6-mon as your pair, you could then the 5-mon's not going to tempt you to throw away Dora, and now Michael has called into Tempai, waiting in fact on the 3-mon.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised by that 3-pin cut. I was thinking maybe we could drop the 7 instead and have a 3-3-3-5 shape where you have a ton of pair draws, including the Dora pair. But Al finds Tempai is gonna slam a Ricci. The 1-mon is dead, completely discarded or in the dead wall, but the 4-mon is live. There is 1 in the wall, and 1 drawn by Michael, who cannot afford to drop the Dora here, so he might just say half Suji and shove it. Yeah, no other choice. No. Forso is a little bit difficult shove here. And it's reaching into Dora 2. It's going to be a Mungon for Al. And that's going to break things open. Finally a hand. That is not a multiple of 1300.
That's a real hard discard to adjudicate. Like with so many upper Manzu discarded, it gives you this illusion that the lower Manzu might be a little bit safer than other suits. But I feel like lower Sozu had been discarded just a little bit more than lower Manzu had. Like thinking about relative to the tile instead of looking at the whole suit.
Yeah, I didn't get the chance to see how many middle So tiles were cut. 5 So, 6 So, or called. But I believe the 4-7 Suji looked pretty bad as well. Al, I think I cut 1 So, 2 So, 8 So, but I don't know about things in the middle. So I think there's a decent argument to try to just hold Tempai, given that you can't really defend. Unfortunately,
absolutely.
That means you're not dropping the Dora, so you're dropping the deal in tile. Bit unlucky there for Michael, but of course that is one of the downsides of opening aggressively. If you don't get your winner, if they're all being held, that makes you vulnerable to Ricci. And Al took full advantage of that. In the lead now, over 46,000 points, and has everyone below 30k. Hypai looks like he might be able to extend that lead, huh?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you could get Sanshoku, Pinfu. There's a lot of very pretty things going on here. The only issue is going to be Greg's already Tempai with Haku Toy Toy and immediately deals in.
Yeah, 7 So was the floating tile in the hand, and Al sees the 2 calls like, all right, maybe I should Sakigiri a bit, get rid of this tile before it's dangerous, hold the safer Chud. And no, it's just already there. Sorry, Tempai.
But that also means that you are probably never really going to be able to win that hand anyway. If you have something stranded like that deals in so early, it's not like you were going to rework around for a 7 So.
Yeah, it's unfortunately you had to pay it out, but still over 40,000 in the lead, and we move to Galhan, who is in 3rd place currently. Hypai, promising. 4 diamond shapes in a pair. Now you have a Dora connector. A Dora connecting shape, rather.
And you could extend, if you go away from the Dora, you could extend into a possible Sanshoku. Once again, kind of the efficiency issue with this hand as well. Yeah. Less so now. It was going to be the overlapping Ryanman, but now you just have a Sanmenchan.
Oh, chooses to open
or a headless.
Yeah, I mean, this is really efficient, but can reduce your value by quite a lot.
How much does it increase your win rate, though?
Yeah, that's there's so many draws into Tempai now, like unbelievably wide weight. However, all the Dora have been drawn, notably Michael with 3 Dora in hand, really desperate to win
Gee.
this. Will just take the Tempai immediately.
Oh yeah.
Galhan Tempai now on the Dora that's never coming out. This weight is completely dead.
Well, we have Ishanten on the right for Greg as well.
Could be Richi Pinfu Dora if the 7-mon is drawn. Of course, 7-mon not very live either. And Michael really hoping to draw 6-mon to improve that weight. Hal holding 2 of the winners. And when you've got a Shabo, that means there's only 2 tiles left.
It's really easy for those tiles to get eaten up. That's one of the things that, well, that was an improvement, but doesn't want to wait one
Khan.
more mon
Oh, Khan into the
because you have to.
Oh,
Wow.
drop the 6 already.
Didn't want the Furitin.
Yeah, Forso is, an extra Han in Gahan's hand. Extra value there, but again, the weight just cannot win here. Ooh, switch to Tonki? No. Still believing in the Dora.
I mean, well, let's see. Yeah, 2-pin and 4-pin feel like they could be dangerous here.
Still 2 tiles on the wall for Michael's weight. No chance to improve just yet. 6-mon all gone, so that route to improvement is also no longer in existence. Uh-oh, the 3!
There's a 3!
Boom.
Yeah, this is going to swing things pretty drastically. Tanyao Dora 3 for Michael. Pick up a Mongon. Trade places with Greg, essentially. Oh, not trade exactly. Still behind, but that puts Greg back below 30,000 and in danger.
And you definitely feel a lot better about this position if you're Michael, especially with your closest competitor being dealer and you having the last dealership.
Yeah,
And that was a good draw.
Michael opening up with Dora 2 again. Haku paired up in hand. Has to be feeling good about this. Greg, though.
I never know what to discard with this hand for Greg.
Yeah, I like 8-pin. You still keep your efficient shapes. You have Sun Joker chance. Keeps all your options alive. Ooh. We don't need an extended Diancon.
I think that wouldn't that just be a Sankan?
Do we call it Sankon here? Creating new terms?
I mean, might as well. Every term had to be invented at some point.
That's a great point. Sankon it is. Sankon denied by Greg.
Yeah, the other Haku not appearing in anyone else's hands all the way through the first row here.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, Michael could draw an Anko like he had in the last hand. No one else looking super exciting. Al 2 away from Tempai with potential Pinhui Peiko and Tanyao.
Well, I don't know. Galahan could get a Junchan here.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, has 5 blocks of Junchan.
And now the 5-pin's gonna go. Oh no, Greg gave up on the 1-so too soon. And now has really awkward shapes. Is this a Gianpeko play for Greg? We're a 2-mon draw away from considering it.
Man, that would feel so bad, though, to have 2 Kanchan that you already have one of the tiles that fill it.
Oh,
you'd have to discard 2 3-pin. Oh my god, he's doing it!
It is Chitoi Shantan, so the play makes sense here. No matter what you draw, you could be Tempai. Just if you draw 2 mon or 4, so you're Tempai for a lot more than just...
Yeah, well, thinking about Chitoi, I really feel like 3-pin should have gone ahead and been discarded there. It's twice cut. The 8-mon looks like people are either already have it or won't be able to use it, but it's not really been discarded.
Yeah, a couple things to note. Gaohan made
Boom.
open, made a move towards Tempai, also managed to move towards Sanchoku 789 as well. So Junchan Sanchoku a little bit more value. Al opens up for Tempai. It's not the Pinshui pick he was looking for. It's a really, really bad 4-mon, 5-mon weight, but it could win. I mean, Greg can't use a 4-mon. Gaohan can't use a 4-mon.
I was gonna say, Greg could just toss 1-mon with a 4-mon draw, couldn't he?
Yeah, that's true. But
Ooh.
we want
We want Rinpoche or 7 pairs.
I am blind to any other hand than Gianpeko, even with the 2-mon being cut back to back by Michael and Al. There's still one left. There's still a dream.
You only need one more. You don't need more than one.
Chi.
Gaohan actually gave up on the 5-so draw, but is trying to find a way to Tempai here.
Sumo.
Oh, I
Oh,
almost
there's a sumo.
As they say, just Sumo and Michael never saw a Haku. They were just buried so deep in the wall, maybe even dead walled. And that will move us to all last.
This isn't exactly the hand that you wanted to pick up. Your pin tiles are nice, but only one mon tile, a Kanchan and so, and then a lot of individual honors that are immediately getting discarded by other players.
Yeah, you know it's a little sad when you tank, Sumogiri. It's a definitely difficult hand if that's the play pattern.
But drawing, well, not quite middle tiles, but drawing simples that can be connected to here.
Yeah, that's always a plan. Just aim for Tanya on a repeat. Al on the right, drawing pairs. He's got 4 of them now. No Dora in that hand, although we just have connecting 4 pin. Now a sequence formed. Across the way, Gaohan might make a play at Ipeko in the upper Sozu. Also Tanya Odora to lock in second place over 30,000. More pairs drawn in that hand as well. And for Greg, I see 3 Manzu pairs. Very awkward shapes in that hand as well.
If you're Michael here, how aggressively are you calling this hand?
I would call almost anything. At this point, the hand has to be Tanya almost certainly. And so, yeah, we've got such bad shapes, I will call almost anything. Maybe not 3-pin. But I see that's already been discarded.
Yeah, three pin would be a rough call. You could always con it and just know that you're gonna draw the tile you need after that.
Okay.
Yep, and is kind of confirming the Tanya here by discarding that 1-mon.
Yeah, I think 2-so 7-so might have been okay too.
Chi.
Leave behind the Ryanmen.
Okay. Chi to leave a
Chi.
Diancon in the Pinzu.
But that doesn't actually I get okay, so it increased your efficiency a little bit,
Right.
but it didn't get you closer to Tempai.
Yeah, I mean, an interesting question is, do we Chi that, or would you prefer the draw? And, well, it's put Michael on a good drawing line, it looks like, so
Chi.
maybe it's worth it. 2 calls for Gaohan, again, trying to confirm that second place here. Might end up on Dora Tonki.
Well, even 1K is enough to not get negative.
Chi.
Well, here we go. Amazingly, the 5-pin is totally live in the wall. Michael's
There's
on
Tempai for Michael.
And Michael can use a 5-pin. He can just swap off from the 8, so no worries about dealing in just yet. Al 1-so discard implies a little bit of caution, although he is still Ishantan. 5-pin still live. Greg. Ishantan as well. At this rate, it feels like Gaohan will find it sumo. We've got 10 draws left, and there's still 3 tiles in the wall.
Sumo.
Oh, Michael gets
There's the 4 though!
The last 4-mon somehow beats 3 Doras.
That's incredible. Well, it's almost like a little bit of payback for Michael there. Payback has a really negative connotation. That's not exactly right. Like karmic fulfillment, maybe.
Right.
after not a single Dorohaku being drawn by anybody last hand after starting out with a pair in the pocket.
This sort of mirrors that hand as well. So Michael opens up a better high pie here, still in last, but the desperation Tanyao worked out and can build on this as the dealer. The right, Al, very strong shapes as well. This is looking to be really a fast completing hand. What is going on in Galhan's hand? It's Yaku high. Needs 1,500 to get over 30,000.
So you're gonna want to call both of them.
Right.
It's hard. It's gonna be hard to get up to 1,500 with Fu unless you can con.
It's got a very, very clear path though towards getting there. And if you make it 1 in 40 in sumo, that will be enough. On the left, Greg, also very nice shapes. Ian Shantem.
Chi.
Gahan's done the easy part. Now or I guess that's technically the hard part. The easy part is usually getting the honors, but those have not been found. All of them. Okay.
Well, there's a Sal.
Beach.
Oh, that gives Greg Tempai. We're going to see a battle now. Michael was drawing really well. Finds 1-so. Ishanten for Michael. But the 9-so comes in Sumo, and that's going to be enough food to bump it to 1 in 40. With it, Sumo will give him enough points. Oh, I had the Ricci stick too, but...
Right, the Ricci stick made a big difference, but even so, would have gotten there.
Yeah, I love that the food consideration actually mattered. Oh, could have mattered. And Gaohan does end up getting there. Al will take home the first place plus 25.7. Gaohan manages to pull over 30,000 with a nice sumo at the end, plus 6.3. Greg barely survives by 600 points in third place, minus 10.7. And Michael takes a negative 21.3 fourth. All things considered, not a bad result given the Mangan Dealan, the no choice Mangan Dealan earlier.
Oh,
minus
right.
21.3 is a very, very small fourth place there. So,
I mean, I've had thirds this season already that are worse than minus 21.3. That's
it's definitely better than the start of the season that I had. First place plus 25, fourth, minus 40, minus 40, minus 40.
Yeah, that's rough.
Greg.
Not doing good in the commentary booth, are we, huh?
No. But things will turn around. Though I had a couple games this series that went a little bit better. Session 2 not over yet. I'll be playing Thursday. This table is finishing up their session. It looks like they've got one more that has started, but will be a few minutes before that one goes live. Gives us a moment to take a look at the overall standings for B1. Al only improving in the standings, up to third place now. Galhan remains barely positive. Of course, Barry just dominating.
Yeah, I mean, plus 2 full sessions with no thirds or fourth is absolutely wild.
He's two firsts or seconds away from the achievement. 10 consecutive.
Got to get those 10 consecutive.
Yeah,
do we
achievement.
have little badges? I know that we have a Saki award. You get a little trophy. You get a little like picture trophy if you win the league championship. But do you get like a badge for, completing your Yaku decks or winning a Nagashi that you don't actually win? I feel like should be an achievement.
I think the person who completes the Yaku decks first really does deserve an award. Because to get every single Yaku, this is not including all of the Yakumons, it's just one Yakumon, and every single one of the other Yakus. I mean, Sankansu, Chankan, Richan, all those.
Sankansu is still the only Yaku that I personally have never won. Just as I have won every single other Yaku that there is. Just I can't find Sankansu. I tried to grind Silver 3 player for like a month. That's all I played, just for the purposes of trying to get Sankansu, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, that's obscenely rare. And yeah, I think I'm missing Sankansu and maybe Chankan. I don't think I've won a Chankan yet, oddly enough.
Really?
Now, people, I just don't pick weights that are bad.
You need to play with people like Dustin who pawn out of their like 5 6 6 6 7 way, like 5 6 6 7
Yeah, yeah.
and stuff like that, who pawn it and then con it later after they've shifted their hand around.
Yeah, wouldn't.
Korak with no Rinshan, it's absolutely mind blowing to me.
How is that even possible? With all the cons that Korak does. Lately, I've been conning a lot in ladder, just believing that I can rin shot. It doesn't happen.
This has gotta work. Con.
We are just moments away from game number 2 starting. Will be Al in the first dealer seat as well. I mean, hey, it worked last time, so why not this time? Greg on the right, Michael across the table, Galhan on the left.
So okay, no, those I every time I look at the seating arrangement, if the East person is the same as last time, I just assume it's the same order. I know there's 3 other seats, but I'm like, oh, it's the same East. It must be the exact same table.
Yeah, definitely a little bit different order this time. All right, Al opens up a kind of average looking Kai Pai. It's got shapes, but none of them are good. So we'll see how these draws improve the hand, or maybe we just go Cheetoy. On the right, Greg. Another hand that isn't super promising out of the gate, but again has decent floating tiles, so we'll see how that hand improves. Across the way, Michael. Maybe Itsu and the Pinzu. 3 tiles away from that.
That's very optimistic.
Yeah, I just look at this hand and I'm not seeing much going for it outside of the Itsu, so you might as well, your 3 Shanten, just draw 3 perfect tiles. Gauhan's hand, that looks a lot
better. That's all it takes. Yeah, the only hand that I look at and immediately think to myself, oh, that hand might win.
Oh, nice fill, Ishanten, perfect Ishanten. Though you really want the Forso for Tanyao, Pinfu, and Dora acceptance, or I guess Dora retention.
Aldwin has gotten to Ishanten here.
Okay, maybe Ipeco brewing. If you draw
if you draw the 7, so do you Dama to try and get Riampeiko?
Sure. Hell. What do you do against Arichi here? 9-pin relatively safe. Yeah, just throws it back. Still Ishanten, so he can fight with a 5-so draw. Galhan drew the 7-mon to Tempai, so Richi Pinfu Dora with potential Tanyao on top of it. 5 tiles in the wall. Looks very strong for Atsumo. Oh, Michael trying to shut it down with the Garrick special. Itsunomi, just random 3-pin weight. Because who would do that?
Well, and if you're Michael, you see 3 4-pin and 3 5-pin, so
oh yeah,
that 3-pin's really hard to use.
It looks great in the wall. Oh, there's the 5. Al will chase here with the 8, I'm sure. And doesn't have to be a Ricci though. Oh no, he doesn't. My Al predictions are not on par.
So what's Al headed towards with discarding 9-pin 9-pin?
I mean, you can still find Tempai. It's just not going to be a very good one. I wonder. Unless you draw the 8. But yeah, it's just a mega Mawashi. Playing safe. No need to get yourself in trouble in East 1. Even. Oh, well, Greg will fight. What is this? Ricci Ipeco. So basically the same hand Al had. Just waiting on the 8-mon instead. Oh, but Michael gets there as expected.
But Michael had gave up a little bit. Michael discarded a pair of 1-mon after drawing the 6-mon, not wanting to discard it, but just drew another 6-mon to get back into Tempai.
That's wonderful. I love that. See, it doesn't you don't get punished for folding. You just draw back into Tempai. I love that the random Itsu beats 2 Ricci hands.
But now Aldwin with Dora Yakuhai in the pocket.
Yeah, now he can do whatever he wants, but he could just Dama. He's Ishanten with 2 diamond shapes. It's amazing. He even gives up on the Sanchoku prematurely. Just
リーチ
slams a Ricci, going for Hanuman. Okay, Ricci.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, I
Dora,
mean-
Dora, Dora.
Might as well. Like, you can't really play defense. I mean, granted, Aldwin has more useful discards for the opponents right now than you normally have 4 tiles in, but still, you're only 4 tiles in. Like, people are gonna run out of safe tiles pretty quickly unless you get really unless you reveal a new Suji every single time you discard, which currently is exactly what's happening. But
Down to 3 tiles in the wall for the Tsumo. The 2s and 5s are pretty well secured in the other hands, which are mostly just bailing it anyway. And unfortunately for Al, hasn't really dropped anything to make the Monzu look safe. For example, if he could cut a 3-mon, and a couple more 3-mons follow, it might bait the 2-mon into coming out eventually. As is, everyone just folding. That's not to say if there was a Dama that the 5 or the 2 would come out anyway. It looks like they would have been retained in hand even up to till here.
when people classify Ryanmans, what's a 2-5? Like, when
Well-
people say this is a class blank Ryanman, like, how does that delineation occur?
I think the terminal ones, 1, 4, 6, 9 are class A. So I guess 2, 5 would be class B.
I mean, that would be my assumption.
And then
That feels right.
3, 6, 4, 7, class C. And class B, early, slam it. Still 3 tiles for Tsumo. Greg, kind of, not that action that far. Technically Ishan 10 here, but 4-pin save. If Greg had drawn Tempai
Yeah, you're not
just
going to
then,
get Tempai.
looks like we're heading to Ryukyoku. Everyone folds in 3 tiles dead wall. That's a little unfortunate for Al. Only picking up a net gain of 2,000 points there.
But again, if you stay Dama, I feel like I wasn't fully convinced that either 2-mon or 5-mon would have ended up coming out of someone's hand. Obviously, the Ricci completely changes the way everyone plays, so it's hard to say, but
Yeah, I think I'm on. I was just looking at the hands as they were moving around. There's a chance that maybe Michael would drop a 5 because he had a 5, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8 to confirm the 2 sequences. But even then, you probably want to hedge Ipeko for as long as you can. So it would have taken a long time for that to come out, if at all. And so Michael will have the dealership now.
starting with 2 Dora in this very nice Nakabukure shape.
カン
The 3, 4, 4, 5. Whoa!
Early Con adds another door to Michael's hand, and he draws the East pair. This double tone. This hand is already Mongon by the looks of it, if it can just complete. But that Con, you have to wonder what's going on in Greg's hand. It looks like he has plans for Chun call, and then Chun Dora 1 currently.
The 3-mon's an interesting con because you weren't going to use that 3-mon for anything else more than likely. So you were probably going to con it eventually. But whenever someone cons a tile like that, anything from 3 to 7 really, it always makes someone upset, I feel. Because you're like, you're either, you had, wow, and then 2 pawns right to Tempai, waiting 3 so 6 so.
ポン
Oh, Cons pawns into Toy Tempa with 2 Dora. This is maximum aggression for Greg. He gets his choice of Tonki as well. But that's the double tone. Juice.
Just getting the East.
5 so playing safe here. I was thinking.
That's an interesting discard. I was kind of thinking discard.
Greg heard
Maybe
us talking
he was
about
Sun
Sankansu.
Kansu, yeah.
チ
Oh, and then cheat. This is really. Yeah, I was thinking
Yeet.
7-8 earlier. And Gaohan just Sumo Giri Richie says everyone's vulnerable here. I've got such value in the Uda. I mean, there's nothing in hand other than Chi Choi, but pay Tonki, best Tonki? Does Al fall for it?
I mean, Pei's live.
Chi, and then Michael's just picking his
Chi.
Conky right now. Wants the 9-mon. Only one of those in the wall. Oh, but there's the 9
Oh, there
last
it
one
is!
comes out from Gaohan. That's the new Dora as well. Dora 5.
Oh, goodness.
Every single con helped Michael.
Greg was like, that was my plan the whole time.
Yeah, not last, not last. That's what I tell myself, at least, when I'm in ladder. I might not have won. I might have given dealer double tone Dora 5, but at least I'm not last.
And
Wow.
Galhan very quickly taking the Hatsu pawn here. Very, very well might be forcing Honitsu. I say forcing. It's not a huge force. It's mostly Sozu in the hand, but
But it's Sozu, so you know what's gonna happen. That seems to have been the plan for Galhan today. Just force Sozu Honitsu.
has he won any of them?
No, unfortunately
I
not.
didn't think so.
Listen, if you keep trying, eventually it will work, right?
Law of large numbers?
That's right. That's right. Something like that. We're math people. We should be able to say that firmly and just have people believe us. Law of large numbers.
Michael has a wild hand here. Okay, finally has a pair that's probably going to get in the way of a 7-8-9 Sanshoku.
Unfortunate.
But you don't want to discard Dora 4-mon when it's a part of Ryanmen. So it's almost like you either are going to end up giving up on the Sanshoku or throwing away a full Ryankon.
All right, bye-bye Sanchoku.
Yeah, by 7-mon.
We did see Craig open up on the left with 2 door in hand. That makes a lot of sense. It's going to be a Tanyao, 2 away from Tenpai.
Trying to get above 30k.
Al's plan in this series seems to be hang around, don't do anything dangerous, get your big hand and slam a Ricci. Currently chilling out, waiting for that Tenpai.
1
Speaking of Tenpai,
1
Michael's gonna slam on the 8-pin Kanchan. As dealer with 1 Dora, makes a lot of sense. Apply
Only
pressure.
1 left in the wall, unfortunately.
Might get chased here.
リーチ
Will get chased. Al choosing.
Oh, there's the last 8-pin!
Uh-oh. But what does Greg have? Tries the 5? It's half Suji to 1 Ricci. And you're guessing Gaohan has a lot of the Sozu, so maybe you just say it's safe? It's also just your widest E-shot then.
I mean, you have all the Dora, so you're not particularly scared of anyone's hands. I mean, dealer's always scary just because they're dealer. They get more value out of everything. But if you're not feeling like Galhan's tip... Oh, no!
Yeah, that long tank led me to believe...
Oh, but this is Tenpai.
Oh, wow.
Doesn't take it!
The 6 was safe.
ロン
Oh... And while disconnected, Galhan deals into Q there.
Yeah, this is really rough. So we'll move to Galhan's perspective. The red text will go away, but still likely disconnected. And we see Michael not really tanking on the discard. He's tanking to give time for Galhan to reconnect.
Or
It looks
maybe
like
just
Galhan's
thinking...
back.
Yeah, he's back. That was a Tadashi. And who needed that 5-pin anyway?
It's not like
Just do a Furiton trap. Furiton trap on 5-pin. No one will see it coming. But Aldwin with a pretty nice looking Yakuhai hand here. I mean, it could become Chanta, but you're certainly not going to force it with 2 Dora and a Chun already.
Yeah, I'll almost be a little reticent to call the 7-so if it came out from Gaohan. Because that leaves you looking for another 7-so. It feels a little bit weak.
Well, and especially because you could actually turn this into Toy Toy if you pair up 7-pin, 8-pin, or 1-so.
As you said.
Like that.
Looking good for Al. Across the way, that's Ishanten for Greg as well. Definitely competing hand. Ooh, interesting choice. 1-pin, 1-pin? Okay.
ポン
Does indeed.
That means that Al gets the call. Ishanten now.
And 2-3-4 Sanshoku now a good option for Greg.
Absolutely.
ポン
Of course, that's... Oh, 9 came out. That's Tenpai. 8-pin, 8-so, and Gaohan in trouble. Oh no, Michael in trouble.
ロン
Drew that useless Dora, and that's going to deal into Toy Toy Chundor 3. It's a Hanuman.
Woof. That's gonna switch places.
It does switch places. Now Al in the lead. Dora always a little risky against a 2-call hand. In this case, max punishment. Al looking to pull another first place in. Honko of the South. Horitsu viable. East is Dora. Greg on the right. Tanyao, lots of pairs. Is that 5?
5.
So Chitoi Shanten.
Now this is where it gets really how much. Well, I guess with 1 9-pin already discarded, that really incentivizes you to go for the Chitoi Tanyao if you can. Discarded the 5-pin pretty early there. Hopefully maybe hoping to set up a Suji trap for Chitoi Tanyao waiting on the 8.
Yeah, while we were looking at that,
Nakasuji trap!
1
Whoa.
1
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Everyone's doing everything. Michael slams Richi Pinfu Dora 2. Immediately chased by Gaohan, who
Sumo.
Ipatsumo's on Tonga.
Wow.
Headshot. Oh my goodness. Michael's gotta be mad about that. My weight was so good. My value was so good. It said, you, Ipatsumo, your pen shot? Okay. Fair play. Yeah,
Gaohan desperately needed that Ipatsu though. That Ipatsu was critical to trying to help him catch back up. Still 16k behind.
Yeah, and I was watching that hand develop. There was a really critical decision where he cut away a whole Diamen that had Ipeko chance for the purpose of forcing Itsu for value. And even when he found Tenpai, he did not declare the Richi. He was going to force Itsu for value. He only Richi'd as a chase because he was out of time. And then ended up getting the Ipatsumo as a result.
And now has a pretty nice Ishanten. Not necessarily an efficiency, but you have a potential Ipeko. Can you can't
It's
shift
Tenpai.
towards Sanshoku. Yeah, waiting for so.
1
Okay.
You do keep the Ipeko that way.
Yeah. I wonder if we would want this Tenpai. Obviously, Gaohan didn't really want it, otherwise he would have slammed the Richi immediately. I guess your alternate plays maybe 3-so?
1
Oh,
Well, it
Al's
looked kind of
prepared
like
to fight.
Gaohan was trying to build towards 3-4-5 Sanshoku, but the 3-mon just ended up being the pair in the hand. This chase, though, is very problematic for Gaohan.
Yeah, it's super wide weight. 1-4-7-so, and there's the 7.
4
Richi, pin
Into dealer, no less.
Yeah, 58, losing all the points that he just gained. And now everyone is over 30,000. This is tragedy for Gaohan currently. Still South 2, but we're running out of time.
Aldwin with another silly hand over there.
Anko, Hatsu, pair of South. Reasonable shapes elsewhere. You want to find Honitsu? Oh my goodness. More honor tasks. Cut the 6-so. Suiso is calling to you.
Discarding live pay should be a crime, I think.
Oh, okay, that's why we keep the 6-so.
Now,
It's just efficient to keep. Okay. Who would have thought?
Still 2 away, though.
Khan, Al Khan, you can do it. Believe. Oh wow, draws door. Okay, good no con. Good no con. Now calls into Tenpai. For the record, I'm not actually suggesting Al make these plays.
This 4-so does not look good in Greg's hand.
Yeah, he's kind of got all his shapes elsewhere. And it's gonna come out almost. Oh, 2-pin first. Okay, still alive.
A brief dodge.
Oh, Michael's gonna deal
No.
instead. Michael found the good weight. Richi Pinfu Dora. Richi Pinfu at least. And that will deal into Al once again. But he's got the dealership and the silly hand this time.
Time for all the wins. Well, I mean, Greg does have 2 pairs of Yakuhai on the left as well. And on the right, Galhan is already Chitoi Shanten.
With Tudora. Everyone's got a silly hand. Except for Al. He used his up already. Dora comes out. No pawn from Galhan. Probably had no calls on. But that would be one tile I'd be tempted to take.
홈,
Especially with it coming out before any of your other tiles. Like, that giving you the chance to kind of reach for a Hanuman, perhaps.
Yeah, if any other child comes out, maybe not. But the Dora makes his hand kind of look like a Toy Toy dash. Because you're left with 8-so, 9-so, and pay to call, all of which seem pretty good, other than being once cut.
Michael's hand becoming Honitsu. Tempai for Greg, waiting 4-pin.
Is there a good call here? 3-5? 3-5's okay, but you'd almost rather
Then
have
you're
your
left
draw.
with 3-4, 6-7.
Yeah. So you've got Yaman Shantan, but you can't call the South. So I think the pass is fine. Oh, Michael, a little bit worried about Honitsu. So drops the safe tune first.
And it was never going to be helpful either.
This pawn is a little bit better.
Doesn't? Oh, Dora would have been Furton, of course.
홈,
Calls it this time. Con?
Khan?
강,
Con!
Yeah!
Oh, but punished for dropping the East instead of the 4.
Flips 5-so as Dora, which might... we'll see what Greg does, but... I mean, you've got to be a little bit concerned. Although this doesn't particularly look like Honitsu, other than that East coming out so late.
Yeah, with all these 2s out, Michael is only worried about Honitsu Toy Toy. And now there's Ricci. Now there's nothing to be concerned about. Oh no!
롱,
Greg pulls the wrong tile in. Ricci pots Chi Toy Dora 4. It's a
No Ura,
Paimon.
but still a Baimon. And that actually flips positions. That was exactly what Galhan needed.
Yeah, it was. From the depths of fourth, like absolutely no way of coming back. Everyone's over 30,000. Direct hit Baimon, and all of a sudden Galhan is in third. As dealer, you're a Mangan away from being in second.
And this is where it kind of comes back to, we were talking earlier about when you decide to call really aggressively, trying to make a quick hand.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of I'm gonna say punish, because it hurts literally your soul to do it. It's not necessarily that it was wrong, but you could be punished for correct things too.
Right.
But either way, it does not feel good.
Yeah, and the other thing is like that Cheeto I think was really well disguised. I think there's like a 7-9 cut from Galhan's. The 8-pin didn't look that bad. I don't even remember how many 7s were out at the time, but definitely wasn't looking like the 8-pin was very dangerous there. Michael trying to stay over 30,000 with an open hand. Al tried to shut the game down with an open hand. And Galhan did another G-Toy.
Well, and Greg, I'm trying to figure out exactly what Greg is aiming for here. The 6-mon discard. I can't decide whether 6-mon or 7-so is more efficient. I feel like 7-so would have been more efficient, but
For sure 7-so is more efficient.
but now you have Ipeiko.
Yeah, this is great. Oh, Michael finds Tempai though on Haku Chun. I think 6-mon is trying to set up a preemptive Suji trap, but just draw it yourself, and now you're reaching the 7. So Ricci, Pinfu, Ipeiko. This will be enough to reclaim third place. Waiting 6-9 so, which is very live in the wall. 5 tiles. Michael.
Is that Chitoi Tempai? That's Chitoi Tempai.
It is.
이치,
Oh, and chasing! Man, chasing with
Sumo.
Chitoi is... No Ura.
That will accomplish the goal of pulling Greg back to third. Michael stays over 30,000. 34.3 for Al. Another first place. Michael taking the second this time with a positive 5.6. Greg pulls out minus 11.3. And Gauhan, despite falling deep into trouble, stays with a relatively tame fourth place here, minus 20.6. Could have even won that Cheetoy and had a different result.
If there had been an Ura, would Michael still have been over 30K?
Let's see. It was 52.
Yeah.
So you lose an extra 700 points.
Yeah.
Looks like he would have fallen below with
I
Uda.
was like, Yeah, that's kind of wild, just how that entire round played out, kind of going back and forth, and then Galhan to get that direct hit Baimon and then to fall into fourth anyway.
Yeah, and then that Cheetoy Tempai at the very end. Of course, you hate the 608, but you feel it's really dangerous, and you don't have a choice. So, ended up only donating 1,000 points as a result, as Sumo was immediately found by Greg. What a great pair of games to start off the evening for us. And it looks like we are going to have a couple more very exciting games in B1 to catch, as well as a B3 table that's going live. Tucker, what do you think? Which table would you like to catch next? We've got Brian, Emily, Alon, and TC in B3. We've got Amy, Kayla, Edwin, and Jay in B1.
Well, I know that the B1 table has already played one game. So I wonder if it would be better to do the B3 table, because I think this is their first game of the night.
Okay.
And I don't think the B1 table is I don't think the B1 table is playing all four. I don't think.
Okay, so we'll be able to catch them later. Well, I definitely enjoy watching Brian play in B3, so let's hop over there. In fact, the game's already started, so we'll hop in immediately. There will be a little bit of lag as we change some information. Looks like we are joining in East 2.
And currently going around the table just before the names pop up. This is I just lost the thing. This is Emily that we are currently behind as dealer in East 2. To the right is Alon. Across the table is TC, and to the left is Brian.
Okay, and boom, we've got the lag out of the way.
Chi.
And we've got a Tempai. Brian already finding Tempai with East only on the 3-pin.
Pom.
And this was some aggressive calling.
Oh, does aggressive calling win?
Don't.
It does. Looks like it's been pretty chippy so far. Only a small sumo and then that 1,000 point direct hit. And still pretty close to 30K. Alon in the
that
leadership
Tuso
now.
is such a good fill for Alon there. It makes his hand feel much more reasonable.
Yeah, you're
even being down a shape.
So pleased to pull that in as one of your first draws. It makes you feel a lot more optimistic about the hand. Why don't you look at the rest of the hands?
Pom.
Yeah, on the right. Well, let's go across. Since we got the Haku call, let's see what Brian's got going on. Has some decent shapes in the Manzu, but just like so many Kanchans in this hand. The 6-8 Kanchan, the 5-7-9 Kanchan. I think that's a 3-so, but I actually can't see it. There's something covering my screen. That's my bad. I'm sorry. On the left, Emily with a pawnable tune, past the pawn on the south, of course, because that was just a guest win. And the tune was not in hand yet, so we'll see if Emily is willing to call other things. Was not willing to chi the 5-pin to kind of take the aggressive calling approach that it seems like Brian has been taking. And then on the right, Tyler has, well, with that 6-0, That 7-8-8-9 is always kind of a rough shape, but I guess now you can look at it as a 7-8-9 show and then a 4-6-8 Ryan Khan. So this is a Ryan Khan, Ryanman, Ishanten on the right.
Yeah, looking like TC's got the maybe slight advantage here.
Chi.
That Diancon's a little bit awkward. Brian trying to catch up with calls. Hakudora 1 Ishantem. And as Tyler draws by, Brian will also likely be getting temp by. I guess if the 5 still comes in for Spires.
Pong.
Alon still Ishanten here. Emily actually opening up here. Could be a toy shift. That's a way to be able to use the south a little bit more efficiently. But finding 6-mon, 6-pin is going to be rather difficult here, especially with a 6-mon being used in a call already.
And Alon now discarding the pair of 1-pin. Didn't draw another shape to replace, but it looked like is just kind of shifting towards Tanyao.
Sumo.
Oh, but there's the sumo for Brian. That's just going to be Haku Dora. So got a 1,000 point hand last round and a 2,000 point hand this time. And is only 500 points out of first, although the distance between last place and first place is currently only 5,000 points. So this is another very, very tight game. And we see that here Spires with the 7-mon, which doesn't actually fit with anything. We have all of our shapes here. We have 5 shapes, and most of them are very good. You just want to improve that 7-9 so more than anything. Can't use the Dora, which is unfortunate, but on the right, Brian with a pair of Yakuhai, and some bad shapes elsewhere with that 1-2. So it'll be interesting to see whether Brian once again favors the really quick calling. Across the way, Emily has again a pair of a guest wind, a pair of south. I think Emily had a pair of souths when it was guest wind before as well. Nice shapes beside that though. Just need to find 5 of them. And then on the left, Alon just keeps drawing Sozu. Like this hand didn't really look like a Chinitsu at first because the half of the Sozu in the hand were all 8-sos. But it's when all you're drawing is one suit, it kind of naturally goes that way.
Yeah, it's a really awkward hand for Alon. I really am at a loss for how to play this. In fact, just backfiring everywhere. Gets this 7-pin after cutting away from the penchant, and you don't want to con because you want to have a so shape, but you've really got nothing else going for you. It's really, really awkward blocks to have. But TC Ishanten, not the best Ishanten, but if you can pull in the 3-mon, you're looking good as dealer. Of course, the 3-mon's been cut a couple times, so might want to just switch away from the shape entirely. In fact, I don't even mind cutting the 6-pin there.
Yeah, when you draw that extra 1-pin, it maybe gives you something else to grasp onto. I also realized I have no idea how long my mic's been muted. I muted it because I had to type something like a couple minutes ago. So I'm sorry if I've just been gone.
No, I
didn't mean to abandon you.
I think you've been here this whole time.
Oh, okay.
At least everything that you've said has made a lot of sense to me, and so I don't think I've missed anything.
Well, but if I were muted, you wouldn't have heard it. So how could it not make? How could something you didn't hear not make sense?
I haven't heard any like unusual. I haven't asked you a question and haven't gotten a response back or anything. So I think we're good on that front.
Okay, we get the Tuso pawn for Brian.
Again,
the East still hasn't come out anywhere, and now this is not a takeable Tenpai. Now you are, and now you have a really good Tanki weight. Like, how does this happen? Like that hand went from being nothing to being a possible toy in no time at all.
Yeah, yeah. Brian, of course, you don't question what the 8-dan does, but definitely foresaw the Toy Toy and the East call. And even if you don't get the East, you can still draw a pair and find Toy Toy, so a lot of sense on his front. He can still win on the 7 and be sad, but the 8-mon is more likely to come out, and that will be a little bit more valuable. Ooh, this 2-pin is twice cut, though. It looks kind of nice being walled off from the 3s and the 4s, but twice cut.
Well, the threes helping wall things off doesn't really add to you wanting to take it as a weight, since the 3-pin would have been the other side of the weight.
Right. I think we might need to see a call here. Oh, but it's called instead by Emily. That prevents Dealer from finding Tempai.
Now waiting for Mon, which there are one. There are one. There are exactly one, I think, left in the wall.
Ooh, how about Xiaotonki? It's gone. It's gone. It's not worth it. This one looks very safe here. If I'm alone there, I'm tempted to con.
I would have been. Yeah. I was thinking the exact same thing.
But in the end, Ryukyoku, 2 players Tempai. Again, very chippy game. A lot of players being willing to open this game. Have we seen a Ricci yet? I don't think I can't remember.
I don't think
Ricci
so.
at this table.
I can't remember anybody losing 1,000 points, which feels almost as significant as beating Tempai. Yeah, I think you're correct. I don't think there's been any Ricci's. It's possible that there was a Ricci before we got here. It looks like that may have been the case with the point distribution. Probably not, but
it's going to be interesting to see who gets the first Ricci of this game. We've got... okay, just quickly looking around all the hands. I'm trying to predict which one has the best chance of getting to Tempai first. Toyman... That's okay. But it's a little rough.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't like any of these hands.
TC has 2 complete shapes in a pair.
So it's Yishanten, okay.
But
the shapes are bad.
The Sankan in the Manzu is not what you want.
Okay, gets rid
Actually
of it.
Discarding away from it.
I quite like this.
Ryan just feels so much better.
I think half the reason that I like this is it leaves 3, 4, 5 Sanchoku open.
Which would be a beautiful draw.
I just 4-pin draw, cut 2 so, and everything looks wonderful again. Everyone else going so slowly though. He shunt down again.
I mean, I was wondering if you just toss 5 so right back almost.
Yeah, I think it's too late to do that in my opinion. If it was earlier, I think I would actually. But again, that's just because I love Sanchoku a little too much. Uh-oh. Tyler not believing in the East anymore. That means we're going to take a slightly worse shape. But just draws it. Doesn't even want this Ricci. Just Damas. So we have yet to see our first Ricci.
Well, and the 3-mon's already been cut once, and the 5 so is just not a fun Champon tile. Although we do see Emily with that 3-pin pon. 3-pin pon. Yeah, it looked like was maybe trying to hedge Chinitsu a little bit, but of course just takes the 8-mon Poma to Tempai as well. Now waiting on 8-pin.
Yeah, and now Tyler's not afraid of that hand anymore. It looked like Chinitsu. Now it just looks like Tanyao. The door has already come out from Emily, so unless it's Toy Toy, there's probably no value there. We see the Ricci.
Oh!
That's not going to deal into Emily's hand. So
because that 9-pin, yep.
It's just a save tile.
Well, but unfortunately, Brian might not. Well, if Brian gets to Tempai, it's not going to be by discarding the tunes. Oh, but sumoing the 5 so.
All right.
But not expensive. Still, just Ricci sumo. We can't eclipse 2,000 points apparently.
Yeah, I mean the closest hand to a Mangan was Brian, who's Atosuke for the Chun. but that was once cut and not coming out for a while. So we do have evidence that Ricci is good, though. Ricci has 100% win rate so far in this game. Just Ricci, they say. I've tried that many times in ladder in these past, I don't know, 10 games. I don't think I've won. I won one. I won one, I think. I'm struggling to find sumos. Hopefully this table can do better.
After like 4 sessions down of the last season, my Ricci win rate was like 40%. And I'm not known for taking bad weight Ricci's. It's just it felt like every time you call, it's like one of those things where every time you call Ricci, someone chases you and wins. Like you lose every single fight.
Oh, hello, 6-pin. Nice to see you, Ishantan. Can we see another 100% Ricci?
And this would be Ricci Pinfudora.
Yeah, this has some serious value to it. I wonder what
Each.
Oh, hang on a second. Alon got there first. It's another good weight. Ricci, Pinfu, maybe Peiko.
3-pin, 6-pin. But unfortunately, this weight is being pretty thoroughly held. Actually, all of the 3-pin are in hand, and 2 6-pin are in hand. So only 2 6-pin left in the wall. So a Yasume sumo possible. Otherwise, we'll need someone to deal in.
We're seeing a chase here. 1-pin, 4-pin. Only 2 1-pins in the wall. So 2 versus 2, but dealer has a slight advantage in value.
Well, it's rough to play defense against Emily here, too. Well, both Emily and Alon, there is very little information in their discard pools.
Oh my goodness, all of Alon's weights have been drawn. Emily's the only player who can sumo.
There are still 2 1-pin left in the wall.
Brian has East if ever he wants it, but we'll continue to play out the other Genbutsu first. It's just a waiting game.
That 1-pin looking better and better as more tiles get drawn.
Yeah, 3 of the 2 pins have come out. Such a tense situation. It gets this deep in the game. I feel like any draw could be the winner or the loser.
10% of the undrawn tiles are 1-pin now.
Could we actually see a Ricci fail for once?
2 more draws. That is. There were 2 in the dead wall.
Wow, that's unbelievable. I thought Ricci always won. Now only 33% of the Ricci's win.
Right, now Ricci looks horrible.
Don't Ricci.
Never call Ricci ever. It only has a 33% win rate. A quick call from Alon, who is... I mean, it's hard to imagine a Ricci beating Alon's hands with... I mean, that just looks like such a blazingly fast hand.
Yeah,
especially now that you can drop 8-9.
Rolling out for maximum blocks instead of more efficient but slimmer blocks. The feeling is coming out now. Or he could also cut the 8-pin and still hold maximum blocks instead of slimmer and more efficient blocks.
Only 4 pairs for a TC, but that could become a cheat toy yet. Or a toy, why not? Or West. I guess West is the seat win, so you don't even need toy, but you'd like it. Maybe Dorotanki on 5-so. Ooh, do you switch to Honitsu here as Alon?
Ooh, that's not going to be the play, but...
It's just going to take the toy. That 1-so does feel so good to come out.
It really does. And toy is the same as Honitsu in terms of value. If things backfire and Alon draws the 9-pin, he can still get Chanta. This is the worst backfire.
The wrong way to get it. Although if someone discards 1-so, 7-pin, or 8-pin, do you call it? Take the toy
sure.
toy?
I mean, this makes the hand monk. I mean, okay, this is very tempting to just win Dabunan, Haku, Dora. Oh, not Dora, but two Richi sticks. Like that would be a
Richi.
huge win. And now you've got to fight.
Now there's pressure. 1-so, 4-so, the wait for Emily. It is Ricci with 2 Dora. Could also be Tanyao if it wins on the 4-so. There's still 1 4-so left in the wall for her to draw.
Yeah,
If she had waited 1 round, would have gotten the Pinfu upgrade.
No choice but to jam here. There's still 1-so, but
I mean, we could technically use it. I mean, 4-pin safe. 8-pin is Suji. So you can get around. You're, of course, losing very efficient blocks.
Mm-hmm.
But if you deal in, I think it's worth saying, if you deal in, you also lose all of your efficient blocks. Thinking about calling Chi for K10.
Okay, 10 by
5-pin.
pound. Different K10. Huriten, of course. 3 6s visible. It's 1 chance. 3 7s as well. Doesn't like it.
Ooh. And Alon not wanting to discard 5-so. Drops out of Tempai. Could still get there.
Tsumo.
Oh, Emily finds it. The last 1-so. Richi Tsumo Dora 2. It's a Mangan.
And a dealer Mangan at that. We went from having a very, very close game to all of a sudden we got one person way out front.
Yeah, always Richi.
Well, hold on. What's the win rate now?
50%.
50%?
Which is about normal, I think, for Richi's, right?
I feel like Ricci, God, I can't. Ricci win rate, I feel like, is just above 50%. Isn't it like 55, something like that?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Someone quick slash stats. I'm doing it right now. Let's see what the average win rate is for Richi's and Armel. Oh no.
Brian having to make a decision, tossing the 7-9 Kanchan instead of tossing away the lone Dora South. And with that con from Emily, the tune that Brian has 2 of just became Dora. And now Chitoi Ishanten for Brian. There's not a lot of pairs, I guess, in TC's hand. TC only has 3 pairs. Those shapes kind of leave a lot to be desired there. Brian considering the pawn.
Yeah, this is really interesting. It doesn't really feel like a toy hand.
I hate the 5-pin, the tune, and the 4-so. Like I don't like my ability to call any of those. Sort of an improvement for Emily there. Maybe. The Kanchan perhaps a little bit better than the Pinchan. At least in its growth potential.
Yeah, the original.
Although with the con of 6-so,
it does sort of throw a wall right in the middle of the suit, so the upper Sozu are split from the lower Sozu.
Well, currently no one has any Sozu above the 5 in hand. No 7, 8s, or 9s are in anybody's hand right now.
There's gonna be a lot of safe discards in the future.
All right, Alon is Ishanten. Could get a straight there.
This is really funny for Emily.
Each.
Super wide. Still you pick one the 4-so.
Twice cut 8-pin is the wait for Alon. Ricci Dora 2.
Yeah, one tile off of Itsu needed that 6-pin.
Oh.
This is a tile that doesn't feel very good. Interesting toy shift.
How many ones? Only one so has been discarded? I think.
Yeah.
Only one. There's the 4-pin. So that's Tempai. Does take the Toy Tempai. I wonder, do you take Toy or on Tonsu there?
I mean, I think we have to take toy for the Yaku.
Oh, you know what? That's a good point.
And here's the Suji 1. TC is in a little bit of trouble here. Drill throws the 8 first.
The 8 is safe to both players.
Emily just fighting for it. Of course, Alon and Ricci with 2 Dora.
There's the 8-pin.
That looks reasonably
8-pin
safe.
does not. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it's one chance. It's one chance.
One chance in the middle of the 3rd row.
That's true.
Home.
Oh, the 3
No.
will come out
There's
first.
the 3 so.
Toy Nomi is not dealing to the Ricci hand. 4,800. That will make things...
Brian. I mean, that call made Brian Ishanten for his own Toy, but with mini Dora.
Yeah. Certainly felt like a hand worth fighting for. Of course, in the future, you have to drop the South Dora, which is a little risky. And now things very closely contested for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Emily, the only player over 30,000, with another interesting hype by 3 pairs. One of those pairs being Dora. Uh-oh.
4 pairs.
Mm-hmm. Let's see where that hand moves. On the right, fairly normal hand for Alon. Not too much value just yet. Across the table, it's a good... It was a Penchon 7-mon fill. That hand is now 2 away from Tempai. Senpimpo and Brian aggressively opening up for Tanya again. Potentially Tanya Dora. And a 5th pair in Emily's hand now. This is looking like Chitoy for sure.
It's interesting though. I agree that definitely made it look like G-Toy, but the Hatsu would have been really nice to have in hand.
Yeah, of course, like there's different ways to play for G-Toy. I think the most common one is to play normally. And then if it turns to G-Toy, you can start to look for sneaky weights later.
Home.
Well, I mean, I would be very tempted by just holding the honor here just because our shapes are so awful. If we have I tend to do a lot more hedging if I have more Rionman shapes outside of my 5 pairs.
Home.
Oh,
Or within the 5 pairs, more likely. Wow, is this
it's got to be
Toy
Toy
Toy?
again.
very hard to make this
Sumo.
simple? Oh, but the 3-mon sumo. Brian doesn't even really have to think about whether he's willing to push against the Dora pawn.
Just Sumo.
No think, only sumo.
And honestly, Emily's probably fine with that. I mean, you're in 53,000 points. We're in South 3. Everyone's scraping and fighting for every little bit they can get.
Brian doesn't have a dealership left, so that sumo, isn't making it too much easier for him to get above 30K, although now a Mongon is enough.
Alon now in the driver's seat. This Hypai leaves a little bit to be desired. I mean, it's pretty average. That'd be a little bit difficult to use this Dora. You really, really need to find an 8-mon. With that being the Dora indicator is already essentially once cut, so a little bit tricky. On the right, Tyler. Another hand that is not super strong at first glance. A lonely Dora 9-mon in that hand as well. Brian across the table has the Dora indicator, but not the Dora itself. And 4 pairs. And on the left, Emily. 2 Dora.
Chitoy Ishanten for Brian. This table has just been desperate for good shapes. Like, good shapes have not existed for this table most of the game.
Yeah, honestly, it explains a lot why we haven't seen so many Richis. It's just the shapes haven't been good enough to accommodate a Richi.
That 5-mon's a good pull, though, for Alon. You have 5 shapes now, and 2 of them are quite good.
Alon did get that Dora connecting 8 mon, so that the hand looks a lot better now.
Discarding the pair of one so. Wow. And is immediately rewarded. Draws the 5-pin to connect to the 4-pin.
Yeah, although we'd be in a similar position if we cut, say, the 7 mon or the 5 mon. Oh, this is why we keep the 7 mon. Now we have another Dora connector. This hand's a little bit tricky to play because you have so many good shapes. And now you have to make a decision. Do you cut 4-5 or 5-6? 5-4.
Pon.
Pon.
An interesting pawn there for Emily, pawning the 5 out of that 5-5-6-7 shape.
It feels
is
like
Ishanten now.
Emily has to do that because she's going for Toy
Eat.
again. The 9-mon pair.
Two so is the Chitoy weight here.
Yeah, Alon's gonna
For
deal
Brian.
Yatsu.
And it's Suji.
Yeah, Suji trap. All the 1-sos were gone. Looked very good. But Chitoy. That was the
But
last.
200 points away from 30K.
So that gives Brian another some incentive for another fast hand.
Although it looks like TC might have the fastest hand here. A Yakuhai to call, a Sanminchan, 2 Ryanman. Lots to like there.
Yeah, slow on the right, across the table. At least is callable with the West.
Pon.
And we'll see a call. Emily has not shied away from opening her hand. Except for that one hand where she won 12,000 points with a Ricci.
If you can, okay, let's say you're Emily, you can see the Dora 3-pin, or most of them, and Alon calls Ricci. Do you Sashikomi?
With the 3-pin?
No, not with the 3. No, not with the 3.
I see.
I mean, you can see that
Dora.
the Dora's gone.
Yeah,
you
so
see
the
that the
question
Dora's
is,
gone.
do we deal into a cheap hand?
I mean, because
you
Alon,
can. Yeah, you
even
can.
with a Baimon, Alon's not getting over 30K.
I would prefer to just let Alon sumo.
Pon.
But if I'm sensing danger from the rest of the table as well, and I can shut the game down with a Sashikomi, sure. Emily needs points though. Just looking at the current positioning in the standings, so maybe you don't want to give away any of the points that you have.
That's true. One of the important things to take into account in this league format.
Chi.
Ryaman, Ishanten for Emily now. And I was really expecting a 6-0 discard there.
Yeah, same.
What's the logic behind the 2-mon discard?
Pon.
I feel like it's almost just respect for the open hand. I mean, 6-0 was Genbutsu though, so I'm not entirely sure.
Chi.
We do take the Chi though, so back to Ishanten for TC here.
Chi.
Oh.
Emily Ching into Timpai, waiting 2-so, 5-so, and there's the 2-so, which immediately comes out.
Okay, cheap hand for Emily, but that's exactly what she's looking for. Ends the game as the only player over 44,000. It confirms the bonus 5 points of Uma, leaving Brian in second place with negative 0.2. Tyler, negative 13.4. TC with a negative 13.4. Third place, and Alon minus 31.2 fourth. One of those games that was just I think Alon had 1 Ricci or 2 Riccis, and for everyone was struggling to build tempai. The shapes were very bad.
And I think, did Alon deal in after calling a Ricci too?
I know that the battle between Alon and Emily went to Ryukyoku. But
Oh no, Alon dealt into the Suji Trap Chitoy. That's where the big loss of points was.
Oh yeah,
Or the biggest, I should say.
yeah. Chitoy.
And when everyone sumos except for you, it's really hard to make up for that.
Believe me, I know. My first session was just like that. But they will be playing more, I believe. Let's take a look and see. Oh yeah, they're underway. All right, we'll get a second game from this table. As we're pulling this up, are there any other notable results that have come in?
So let's see. At that B1 table the other B1 table that we didn't watch, they played 2 games tonight. In the second one, Amy got a huge plus 40 first. Was not the only person above 30K, which makes that plus 40 even more impressive, really.
1
And then Jai came in second, Kayla in third, Edwin in fourth. And then in their first
Don't.
game at that table, actually, I wonder if I scrolled past it by mistake. No, here it is, right here. Nope, that was the different table. That was the table that Galhan had already played. So I think I scrolled past something. Oh no, they're still playing their game.
Yeah, as you were
It
talking
hasn't
about
finished
that,
yet. That's what it was.
we saw a third turn Ricci from Brian, Ipat's Dylan from Mongon. Once again, Brian winning on the Chuso seems to be his lucky tile.
Ricci.
Oh wow, second turn Ricci from Emily. What is going on? No Ipatsu this time. Ricci Hatsudora. Just waiting on the Formon, which is twice held, twice in the wall. I feel a little sad taking this Ricci because I feel like the weight can improve, but just looking at the draws that we've gotten, it wouldn't have improved quickly.
No, certainly not. And kanchans are always really interesting to want to improve upon, because what happens when you draw the 7? Like, do you just then it feels like you either have to just accept that you're going to be waiting on the 4 or you toss the 3, but then now all of a sudden half of your upgrades will give you Furiton.
Yeah, I think at that point you just slam Ricci anyway.
1
Speaking of which, Brian will chase with an equally bad weight. However, it has 2 Dora instead of just 1 Dora. So same value for these 2 players. Both tiles have 2 in the wall.
Both players have an Anko of a Terminal or Honor tile,
Yeet.
so they're even equal in Fu.
Yeah. And we're going to see a chase from
Wow.
TC. What is this?
1 mon, 2 mon, 1 mon, 2 mon, 3 mon?
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They all deal in.
Lower Monzu, kind of a nightmare here. Lower Monzu looks like a nightmare, though. Like, this is not... You would not be... If you toss a low Monzu here, you're... Might be scared. Do you con with 2 people chasing you? You do! Flips the 6 mon.
You have to feel like your weight's probably worse, but the 1 comes out.
4
And TC is going to pull this one, and Ricci... Ricci know me. Even with 2 indicators, could not find it.
Well, both indicators only wanted the 7, so...
Oh, goodness. Well...
And then Emily says, "That's why I caught." I'm trying to bring other people down.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it didn't hurt Emily. It just revealed the 5 mon, so that hurt Brian. And then I think Emily even had a set. Yeah, Emily had a 7, so
Which would have been double Ura. But now the best Dora has been revealed. Pay Dora, which Brian still has one of in his hand.
because of course the plan is 789 Santraku pay Tonki.
How beautiful that would be. Emily, meanwhile, with 4 pairs once again. Emily has been prone to calling those 4 pair hands so far. One of them is the Haku. Well, and Alon just pairing up the Chun on the left.
This is an interesting spot. I was wondering if it would be the 2 mon or the Penchon cut. Tumon leaves the most things open for Brian, and now we've got an Itsu chance.
The 4-mon was kind of an interesting cut there. Can you rationalize that 8-don move out to me? 'Cause
Oh.
I don't think I understand the 4-mon.
It leaves everything open. You still get your good Diamond shape. I mean, we don't have a pair, right? That's okay. We have the pay. That's going to be our pair. We have 3, 6, 9
Oh, that's
in the
true.
saves here. That's going to be
We're
our
committed
pair.
to pay Tonki. Yeah.
Anything can be our pair here, and it still leaves the 789 Sanchoku open. It leaves the Itsu open. Basically, all the value routes are still wide open here, and you can find a pair anywhere, at least in theory.
And that's beautiful. And that makes a lot of sense. And then pulling in the 5 pin to go next to that 7 pin abandons the 8-9 pin Chan.
Oh, I see the plan. It's going to be 3, 4, 5 Sanchoku Peitanki.
And it's especially crazy to see that, seeing as how there were the 3, 4, 5 pin was not in hand even a little bit. Three tiles ago.
We did see Emily open up on the Haku Anko in hand, so could still greed Toy Toy, could greed Honitsu. Honitsu a little bit tricky though. Uh-oh, that's not a pair we were looking for. I wonder if... Oh, the Bidora does come out. Just hold the Ishanten as dealer.
Yeah, once that Haku gets called, that pay starts to feel a lot hotter in the hand.
Yeah, and Alon as well holding one, does not discard it. Didn't get called, didn't get hesitated on, so maybe believes he can pair it up. Tempai for Emily, she will take it on the 7-mon.
A Haku Nomi to get back to 30k.
Yeah, get that Ricci stick back. That was lost in the previous round. On still
I
struggling
just
with
tripped.
Blockster.
I just tripped so hard when you said that. I was like, there aren't any Ricci sticks in the middle. What are you talking about? But you were talking about the value of 1,000.
Right. Because Emily had Ricci'd and Tyler ended up vacuuming that up with the Ricci Nomi. Get that 1,000 points back. Ooh, that's a great draw for Alon. Now, Ishantem actually cutting the 4-mon, which is actually quite good given the number of 3s and 5s that are just gone. Really looking for Peitanki here and just holding the East as the pseudo safe tile. Ooh, could be Itsu now. And once those relatively safe, so I don't mind cutting the East here. You only feel sad if the dealer declares a Ricci.
And dealers do love calling Ricci. That's something I've noticed.
Yeah,
That's just a personal observation.
Ooh, that...
God, now you can get a 3, 4, 5 Sanshoku with even a 2, 5, 8 weight. Not all of the weights would give you the Sanshoku, but that'd be a pretty baller hand.
Yeah, this is looking really, really nice for Brian, and really nice to see how this hand has developed from High Pie to where it stands now.
1
Now Ricci waiting on 3 so. Twice out, only 2 left.
Not a very strong weight, but it's late. Well, let's try to make something happen. Oh, this we'll just take the Tempai. I guess there are only 5 tiles left. There's so much more.
The
possible,
4-mon's
but
safe against the Ricci.
Yeah, not enough time to do it. Uh-oh.
4
Hote. Oh, it's not Hote yet. Tanyao. There's one more draw left after the call.
And that Dama Atazuke. Waiting 1 so 4 so. All right, but we know that in South 2 someone will hit it big, so
That's right.
we're just kind of waiting around until then. And this is kind of an interesting hand. An Anko of 8-mon to start. A lot of Sozu, but not fantastic shapes. Oh,
Yeah.
well, it's just gonna be Chitoy, isn't it? Huh.
Boy, it's Emily.
So Toy Toy.
Toy, that's it. Yeah, actually a little bit of a rough Toy, but you can work your way towards Tanyao and depending on your draws. TC on the right has door acceptance. That 4, 5, 6, 7 shape is amazing right now. Better than any of the other shapes outside of the Jamin and the upper Pinzu. Ooh, 7 so for Emily is Ishan.
Yeah. What an incredible draw. I don't know about the 4-pin drop. My instinct would have been 3-so. What is the most efficient discard there?
I feel like 3-so is slightly better there because if you draw the Anko of the 5-so or 6-so, you get a nice Diamond Ricci.
Although
But
now if you draw 5-so or 6-so, you get a possible Sananko.
yeah, that might have been the consideration. Emily just says if I drew 5-so 6-so, I would go for Sanko anyway.
And it's not toy, but it's the next best thing. So
Right. Yeah, Emily
Eat.
does tend to think vertically from what we've seen so far today.
3-pin wait for TC, Ricci Nami.
Suji Trap now. It's always nice when that Suji Trap comes out after your Ricci.
I feel like it should have a different name. Like, it's not really a trap. You didn't lay it.
That's true. Yeah, terminology.
More like a Suji surprise, maybe.
Wow, aggressively throwing the Dora.
They're not waiting on Dora. Psh. This, Emily, not a believer in Urasuji.
This is my dealership. I'm gonna fight you for it, I guess. Three-so revealed to be safe finally. Brian, or Alon rather, across the table, Ishanten. Oh, here it is, Tenpai.
Can get the Sananko.
Could you use 4-so or the 5-so 3-pin?
リーチ
He goes with a Sanonko chance. As expected, 3-pin, twice in the wall, 5-so, once in the wall. So 3 tiles for the Tsumo.
Which is kind of incredible. Like, those are both tiles you kind of expect people to be holding.
Tenpai for Toyman,
Yeet.
slams a Ricci, Ishanten for Brian. He draws the 3-pin. That'd be a double run if it comes out, but like this is the point where you wish you had more time to think about it because suddenly another player is Ricci'd.
Yeah, you go. That's where in person you say, "Excuse me, excuse me for a minute."
Sumimasen. I have a long thought that Armel would benefit from a Sumimasen button. You have to use once per game. Extra 20-second bank.
That would be really fascinating. But no one deals in.
Goes
Oh,
to Chukyoku.
Wait, so the other 3-pin was
Deadwalled.
Was deadwalled. Was the other 5-so also deadwalled?
I guess so. I don't remember seeing it drawn. Certainly, the 2 Ricci players didn't draw it. And another peaceful conclusion to the Ricci. Ricci win rate now dramatically dropping.
Oh god, the Ricci win rate's like 20% now, I feel like.
Still in the East round, so Emily can't really make use of the South pair. It's only a pair in this hand. In fact,
This is, I think, the 4th time Emily has opened South pair in the 1.5 Hanchons we've watched.
I have the feeling it's going to leave the hand eventually. Unless it turns into Chitoy, which seems a bit unlikely in the current position.
Yeah, the good shape in Sozu, and that Pinzu is likely to yield a good shape as well.
Uh-oh.
Although...
That's 2 Dora.
Although...
That's 4 pairs. I mean, how do you use all of these shapes other than Chitoy?
Toy.
But with the South dead, do we really want to...
Home.
And the 5 ones
Oh,
cut,
the
9
South
ones
was...
cut.
I missed the South being the first discard from TC. We have a 2-pin Tenpai for Brian on the left.
Yeah, it's 3 Ricci sticks, so definitely... Oh no, TC was discarding from a pair of 2s.
But discards the 4 before discarding the second 2.
By Sakigiri, right now
Oh,
the
but
2
the
comes
1?
out to Sakigiri.
Do you
the
keep
1.
it? You can
Yeet.
keep it. What about 1, 2, 3?
Oh, throws the Dora!
Yes! Calls Ricci!
Oh my goodness, saves
Brilliant!
himself with the D-land, and now Brian's just
Insane.
shoving. He says, "There's 4 sticks. I don't care about your Ricci. You threw the door. You've got no value."
Oh, man.
2-pin Gambutsu to the Ricci, of course, so if anyone draws it, it's almost certainly coming out. You have to question what Brian's pushing with 6-mon after the Ricci. Oh, could switch the weight. Could switch the weight to 1 pin. No, one pin's twice cut. You wouldn't do that. Honestly,
But you could switch the weight to 3-pin.
Yeah. 3-pin good tile?
Yeah, but I mean, one pin is certainly, I mean, is safe because you just saw Alon discard it.
Yeah. I really like the idea of waiting on 2-pin because it's Genbutsu, but you're kind of wondering why it hasn't come out yet.
The South finally coming out of Emily's hand.
7
Okay, upgrades the weight now. 5-8-pin. 8-pin is Genbutsu the Ricci as well, but
There's 4 left in the wall.
yeah, Emily's not going to throw it. Oh, the 2-pin comes
The
out.
2!
And Brian
another
thought it
2!
just for good measure.
It's
Oh no.
It's mocking him.
Oh, this 5 came out. Okay.
4
And as a result of the upgrade to the good weight, Brian will pull in
One
all those
Han.
Ricci sticks.
5,300. How much foo would you need for one Han to get you 5,300?
ポン
That's really close to 4 and 20. So that'd be 3 and 40, 2 and 80, 1 and 160, I think, would be the closest you could get. One Han, 160 foo is what Brian just won, as far as I'm concerned.
1 Han 160. That's great. That's great. I'm so glad, Tucker, that I've got you as my co-commentator to do this math for me.
Well, TC kind of doing some Honitsu math here. Just that 3-4 shape. God, throwing away Ryanman feels so bad. Oh, now it's complete. So
Yeah.
now it's not going anywhere. I wonder, would you have discarded Forso there? I kind of 8-pin doesn't feel awful to me.
Well, you know me, Tucker. You know that I see the 3-4-5 Sanjoku, so I'm gonna
Right.
pick 8-pin first.
I'm sorry. That was honestly a rhetorical question. I know the audience knows. Everyone knows.
And then we draw that 2, so I was like, yeah, we could do 2-3-4 instead. That's fine too. Haku, let's go.
And then you get Ipeko and Sanchoku.
Right.
The Hatsu did get pawned by Brian. Brian is doing so many fast hands. I mean, I guess on the one hand, Brian has just had hands that kind of did imply fastness. God, I can't speak. He's had a lot of Yakuhai and such. But has been calling with several bad shapes still in hand most of the time. What do you think is making Brian take such an aggressively call-heavy approach?
Oh, because this keeps happening. Keeps drawing.
Keeps drawing. These magic draws now has Dora 2.
No, I mean, I wonder if it's just part of the Ho meta to play fast, prevent other people from building hands, and he's just applying it to. Uh-oh. There goes the tune.
ポン
And suddenly there's a huge Mongon.
Oh, wow.
Oh, and immediately the
two so
Chuso. It's gonna be
I know I'm a coward, but I seeing a So tile there, I would have been like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, when you see Penchon cut like that with the Dora pulled, you're pretty sure that it's Tempai. So I'm prepared to fold. Oh, I think I went a little bit too fast here. I think there's also like Brian is extremely efficient, and so there's a decent chance that if he just plays for maximum speed, he'll be able to prevent anyone else from building a hand. And so maybe that's also a part of the open strategy. I just think, for the most part, it's just been the specific hands that he's been dealt that have lended themselves more to being open. Even that last hand, he didn't have the Chun pair to start with, but there was a future plan of Doratanki, right? And once you call your Yakuhai, you can, of course, Doratanki. So it made some sense to do that. Also, just position-wise with the scores, there's some incentive to win fast hands and prevent anyone else from pulling ahead.
Emily with a quick Tempai here to interrupt you real quick. Waiting, I mean, it looks kind of like Atazuke, but it's really not because those are both Yakuhai. So on either the Haku or the Sha, would win at least 3 Han, 4 Han if it is the Dora Shah there.
Yeah, this is a great... Yeah, speaking of fast hands, Emily really expected to win this hand. I mean, TC is doing quite well on the left. I say quite well because there's a chance at 2-3-4 Sanchoku.
Naturally. Missing a pair, though, currently. I guess you could discard 8-mon, 9-mon if you draw, say, 2-mon.
Yeah, that feels like the play. Oh, well, there's another pair. That's a sad pair. Throwback. Oh, no.
Throw it back. You don't need it. You don't need it. You
TC's
can't
playing
get Sancho.
efficiently. This is the correct play, but Sanchoku. Not just Sanchoku, the best Sanchoku.
Pom.
Ooh, a
Is
lot. This is...
Sushi?
We dreaming of
Discard.
sushi.
How many full shapes are you willing to discard to go for sushi?
Chi.
Because that's what you need to do to not deal in right here, basically. 7-pin Tempai for Brian. Tanya Nomi.
Haku still twice in the wall. Shaw has one as well.
Brian doing some calculus here. What's better, 5-pin, 7-pin?
The nice thing
Besides on
about the
7.
5-pin is that you can shift to 4-5-6 Sanchoku and get an extra Han, but Brian doesn't really need this, so he just...
That would require shifting in 2 suits.
Well, it would require just the So shift, right? Uh-oh, Seb came out.
Wrong.
Somehow Emily's third turn Tempai did not win.
Which is kind of bonk. I mean, the Haku just never got drawn. Like, again, the Haku has been a vile tile tonight. Not kind at all to people with pairs.
We saw in the B1 game, Michael had the Hakudora pair and just never showed up. Similarly, Emily's Haku burying the wall. And again, we saw Brian's fast and cheap strategy snuffing out a big hand. And now he's got his dealership, South 3.
TC is currently 3 Shanten from Ri and Peiko. So
Everyone loves a Gianpeko.
that's not the most logical way for that hand to go, but as long as we're pointing things out, and that 3-pin draw is so good for Brian. These Ho-Oh draws? I don't.
This is the Ho-Oh power, right? It's a
Ho-Oh meta, just draw perfect.
yeah. I mean, we notice when it works, right? We don't notice when the tiles aren't coming.
Right. Well, and I guess that's part of, when you're a very good, very accomplished player, like you were saying earlier, like you feel like you're probably more efficient than anyone else at the table,
Each.
just because he has so much experience.
And yet TC got there first. It's a Ricci Ipeco.
Waiting on 7-pin.
Oh, we don't really have anything to defend with, so Max Ooks.
Yeah, I mean, tossing 1-pin doesn't really feel productive.
This is at least an alternate. You get to play 2 safe tiles, and you still have a path towards Tempai.
Yeah, that 3-pin coming out from Alon really, really benefited Brian. And there's the 7-pin, which can now be used. You could actually call into Tempai here. Now that you have Tanya.
And if he doesn't want to cut the 5-mon rather, you go 8-so.
But the 2-mon, 8-mon
Sumo.
make Nakasugi. Oh, never doesn't matter. 7-pin sumo.
Oh yeah, I missed the 2-mon came out. Oh, it does well. That's a Mungon. And we're not done just yet. We've got Brian still in the lead, but Emily in the dealer's seat in 4th place has her chance to come back. TC's Mungon away. Across the table, Lon is hoping for 3,000 points to get over 30k.
And instead got dealt a bad Kokoshi. Although that 3-so makes that hand a lot more doable.
Gives it some hope. Emily's got 7, 8, 9 dreams. Could even beat Junchan as well.
I mean, if you've got 7, 8, 9 Sanshoku, you're just a hop away from getting the Junchan as well.
Oh no. We can throw away this 4-5 later. Brian looking for the June call. Do we? I don't know if we autos get here. It just passes that.
Yeah, because with TC being a Mongon win away, that also means you're a Mongon loss away. So if you call too aggressively now and then get chased by, either a Lon or a dealer, you could end up in a nasty situation.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the resulting shape after the call was good enough to make it worth it. I mean, there's a world where we just drop the Dora and we're fine with that.
ポン
All right, now we're gonna start taking them.
Interesting choice here. Do you just throw the Dora? Go with the 5-mon first.
I mean, to some extent, it feels like the 5-so, 6-so might be the best shape in your hand. Allow you to throw away the 1-2 pinch on. Although you're probably thinking of just getting Toy Toy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, as soon as we call the tune, that Dora's leaving the hand, we're taking our Tempai.
ポン
There it is.
Speaking of calling, Emily passes the Dora this time. Says these shapes are too strong to open up. Too weak open as well because there's no guaranteed Tanyao.
I mean, Emily's shapes have gotten better, but we're still 3-shunted.
Yeah, you'd hope to have drawn a 6 or a 9 to fill one of these shapes in any of the 3 suits. Just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at all the tiles discarded, Emily, there is no way Emily could have had a shape.
Yeah.
At this point, like it hasn't been inefficient. It hasn't been poor discarding. It's just there is nothing there. It seems.
Ooh.
But TC also Tempai and is gonna get it off of Brian.
Yeah, Brian upgrades to Toy Toy, drops the 2, but it's a cheap hand. It's only 1,000 points, so that will confirm. First place for Brian plus 25.9. TC will upgrade to 9.6. Alon, negative 8.0. And Emily takes the fourth here in minus 27. But that is another victory for Brian, who...
Well, it's now 3-3-0-0 in the first 6 Hanchan.
Tried to pull his best Barry impression. He's just 2 first places away from actually doing that. 5-5-3-0-0.
And with 2 first places, could very easily still be in third in B1.
Yeah.
Which is just wild to imagine.
Kate getting off to a great start. Vinny also doing quite well. Both players have completed their session 2 games. And yeah, definitely top 3. Very, very secure. Yeah, Ray not far behind. Alan doing well as well. So looking forward to see how this oh, I'm sorry, I had the B3 mark up this whole time. This is a B3 matchup.
Oh, it is B3.
But
I looked at that earlier and I was like, man, for B1, I feel like I knew more of the names in B1.
right.
But I was like, yeah, whatever.
All right. Well,
this table is just slamming games. Like they're already. I think we're already able to watch the next one if we want to jump into it, because they are taking no breaks.
Yeah, I'm also a little curious to see what's happening in A1. That game's already in progress. They are actually in their second game, and so we would only be catching part of it. But I have some personal interest in seeing what's going on over there.
Let's watch it then. Any chance to say Hanamandre, which I think, with all of the great names that I've seen in these over 2 years now of commentating ARML matches, Hanamandre is still my favorite. I'm a big fan of the Hanamandre moniker. Like that just is so clever. But this game that we'll be going into has Matthew, Alex, Andre, and Joe. It looks like Matthew was the first dealer. Will be coming in 18 minutes after. So, we could be anywhere from South 4 to East 2.
South 3. Wow.
South 3, a fast game.
Very speedy. Oops. And Hanamandre might have lived up to his name with the Hanuman. He's up to 52,000 points.
But Joe
Home.
not slouching either. I mean, anytime someone's above 50, you kind of expect all the other scores to be underneath 30. But Joe hanging in there.
Yeah, this table playing extremely quickly.
What is Matthew's hand? Is
G.
well,
It's a hand with a plan, and that plan is
It's-
Honitsu.
yeah. I'm very impressed that it is already this
Home.
close. And by this close, I mean 2 away. Now it's 1 away.
Yeah, but it's Bakahoden right now. No Yakuhai? So really inexpensive unless a door can come to hand. Very scary though for the rest of the table because it is in the Dora suit. Oh, con? Do we con and make additional value for ourselves, or do we just play normally? If we draw one pin, you can of course make the efficient cut and cut the 5 pin, or you can con and have some fun. Speaking of the pay, I only see 1 in the hand to the right. The rest of them are all walled. Undoubtedly, if Matthew draws it, he will be swapping out the 1 pin for the pay. Ooh, Tempai for Andre. Does he want to slam a 5? He does. And Matthew will pass. It's a really vulnerable state here with 3 calls and no value against a dealer Ricci.
Well, in this four so, we were talking about Suji surprises earlier. This could be a Nakasuji surprise if a 7 so comes out of your hand.
Yeah, and the other thing is, if Matthew calls the pawn, he can't con.
Now you could though.
Waits on the 4-7 instead, which is not very live, but 5 pin is a safe cut. Our 2 7 pins
I
left.
mean, one thing against the con though is you might be worried about Chan Con.
It is possible. Oh, there's a 4. That's problematic. But you're Tempai.
I mean, Con, Renshan, the 4 so.
That's it. Instead, Ricci Ura for Andre, who only extends the lead. Taking a look at this group of players, all in the bottom half of the division. Matthew doing the best out of this group so far. Joe not far behind. Looks like Andre had a bit of a rough game in the first game of the series, but more than making up for it in this one.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what he needed to come back here. And getting very good draws. This hand was, I mean, kind of a little all over the place at first, but 3 consecutive improvements there.
Oh, wow. Continues with the great draws. Now can cut the penchant. Move towards a Tanyao.
Yeah, and just 2 Shanten. A callable 2 Shanten with a Dora.
Even that 1 so is an improvement. This is looking really good. But Joel, on the other hand, has a callable Dabunan. Matthew goes up the Chun. Now can shift to Honitsu as well. Has enough blocks for that. Ooh, I like... Kind of like... So this is the most efficient. If you want to get really greedy, you can cut the 5-mon, which hedges Honitsu, shift, and also Sanako.
Why?
I guess 7 so's really efficient too.
Okay, so Andre forcing Dora into hand. Drew the 4 pin, but didn't keep it.
Now Matthew will confirm the Tempai 1-4 so 8 for Ricci Chun.
Sumo.
Sumo.
Ipatsu was the last 1 so.
Yeah, and sadly the Chi will break the Ipatsu, but still 3 and 40 with its Sumo is quite strong. He'll get back some of those points that were given to Andre. And Matthew is in 3rd place now. Will send us to all last.
And Joe's got a... This is such a tenuous position in all last. You're a Mongon Sumo away from dropping beneath 30k. Your last dealer.
But you're Yishanten on turn 3.
Boom.
Yes, that's pretty nice. And well, now Tempai on turn 4. Waiting 7 months. So that helps.
Yeah, a little bit of an awkward wait. You're really hoping to draw 9 mon or 4 mon. Matthew's got really pretty tiles, but it's almost too good. They're just gonna wait for the 7. There are 2 in the wall. Not that many improvements, but they are available.
Matthew Eshanton now, I believe.
Yes.
Yes.
3-6. Oh, this is a 3-6 wait now. Let's see, what are Ricci this or not?
Just taking the Dama.
There are shifts to Sanchoku, so I don't mind this Dama. And if you're Ricci, you're probably not going to go for 30k. Now, if you hit Joe directly, that could swap places, so maybe that's some incentive to Ricci, but it's really annoying, Ricci, when you're holding so many of the winning tiles in your own hand. Oh, well, that's 3-sided, right? 2-5-8. If you drop the 6.
is trying to math it out right now. And yes, does take the 258 weight.
And part of the math is like, I'm giving up on Sanchoku, but it's a good weight. So Ricci, Tanyao, Pinfu, if I get the 2-5. Oh, we're gonna see an immediate chase by Alex on just the 7 pin. Ricci, Nomi, but saying, this is my chance. I need to take the Ricci stick. I can't let Matthew win because then I get 4th. So I need to hope to get lucky, and here it is.
Oh no, that's the opposite of lucky.
I mean, it's the lucky for Alex, right? Ricci Patsu, no Uda, but I think that's gonna do it.
Oh, just barely.
Alex pulls it
Needed
out.
the Ipatsu.
Wow, the 3-sided weight loses to Kanchan.
That's the second time we've seen that happen tonight, actually. Earlier we saw a 3-sided weight lose to Pinchan, I believe.
Yeah, you're right. Of course, Andre, the big winner here, and Joe manages to stay over 30k, so gets the positive 6.3. Alex only negative 16.4 as a result of that last gasp effort to survive, and manages to win with the exact condition required, the Patsu necessary. And Matthew will take the minus 20.6. Really unfortunate in the end to not take 3rd there. What?
Yeah, well, and now this table has become even more of a dogfight, because Matthew before was quite a ways out of demotion, but all of a sudden now Matthew, Andre, and Alex are all in that bottom 5. And again, it's super early in the season, but it never feels good.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely plays a little bit in your head when you start out in the lower half. I mean, I'm in that demotion zone as well, so it's definitely an uncomfortable feeling. But fortunately, there's it's only minus 100. If it's minus 200 and you're in session 2, and you're a little worried, but you can easily recover from minus 100. We saw last season Simon start out at minus 150, came all the way back. We saw Andre do it before as well, minus 150 after session 1, and came all the way back.
Didn't Max do this? Didn't Max have like a four last places early session?
Yeah,
Max
had a really rough last session, I think, actually. Really rough first set. Was down at the bottom of the division, and he almost won it. He almost won that season. Got 2nd place, I believe. Looks like they are going to play another game, so we stay right here.
Well, and now it's 1,000 EVs. I feel like is something that you don't see in A1 very often, just because things are much tighter. It is the beginning of the season. There's more variance than just 8 Hanchan. But even still, it's everybody at the top there starting very strong.
Simon's 1,000 EV slightly more impressive than Will's, simply as a result of having played 4 more games. It's very difficult to maintain a 1,000 EV. of course, will maybe after 4 more games will be even higher than 1,000. 10.
Yeah, you gotta love a 5.8% deal in. That's pretty nice. Although the average, you could tell that it was like 2 deal ins. One was a Hanuman and one was like an open hand or something. The average deal in score is 8,200.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sitting here with my 16.7% dealing. This is twice what it normally is. And feeling very sad this season. But that's what the rest of the season is for, to lower that number.
I mean, that's gonna be my goal as well. I'm in a very similar situation. I think I'm in a slightly worse situation than you actually.
Well, it looks like this game will be starting in seconds. Andre will be our first dealer on the right, Alex, Joe across the table, and Matthew on our left.
Matthew, I wonder how close. When does Ho-Oh start? Is it 6 don or 7 don?
7 don.
7 don? Okay, because Matthew's right at that 1998. That is very, very close to the R2000. Might not be long before we have another Ho-Oh.
That's right. It should be noted that for the first game of the series, Matthew did finish first place with plus 23.5. Joe took the second, Alex the third, and Andre the fourth. Very, very, very average looking scoreline at the end. No one too far above or below 30,000.
And Andre once again opening a like this hand was probably a little bit better than one of the hands that we saw last round, but like just the first 4 draws have been pretty stellar. Just 2 away.
Yeah, this pinch on is a little bit sad, but we're really looking for a pair, so any one of those tiles could easily be paired up. I guess it's a little bit more tricky when all the 2 mons are being held, and there's a 1 mon in someone's hand as well. Speaking of those mon shapes, Alex, a really interesting choice here, has the Itsu confirmed, but draws a door and is lacking a pair. You could argue for just cutting 3 so 4 so or 6 so 8 so, 6 so 7 so rather, and aiming for door Tonki. Or you could get your choice of Billiton.
And that the 6 pin is safe against Alex, but would deal into Andre.
Yeah, Andre just grabbing Tempai here. Oh, switches to the 4. I'm actually not that scared of pin tiles against Alex, given that Sim will get E6. I think I'm comfortable cutting the 7 pin there. Andre just is going to stay out of this one. Oh, actually, would have won on the 4 pin if he jammed the 1. And now back on that 4 pin. 4 pin, 5 pin, and the 4 pin's Genbutsu Man.
And
No profit. This is silly. This is silly. Andre, what are you doing?
And then Matthew's got to be like, what?
Exactly. Oh, that's funny. That's really funny.
Because you don't really expect Andre to be Tempai there, I don't think.
No, it looks like he's folding. Because 3 pin, 4 pin, 1 3 pin, 1 pin, and now he's Tempai in the 4 again. That's very funny.
Of course, Andre, well, on the second dealership here, a lot of Kanchans this hand, so Any's Little Lore could get Tanyao. Now could even think about the 6-7-8 Sanshoku, but again, bad shapes. On the right, Alex has well, I guess not confirmed yet, but has a Depeiko currently in the Manzu and a good shape in Tozu, so that could be a very good hand. You just need to find more blocks, and now that 5-mon might actually get in the way of the Apeiko, but you're getting closer to Tempai, which you like. Joe across the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 2 Shanten. Has 3 pairs, which usually you're not too keen on. Is currently holding on to one of the Dora Souths. Alex discarded it, but Joe decides to keep holding on to his. Matthew on the left is Ishanten. for just Ricci Pinfu if you're able to pull in that 5 pin, which is how you'd most like to get there.
I have to point out Alex's shape on the right. If he draws 5/8, so Tempai.
God, what would that be a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Would that be a 5 pawn tempai?
It would be 2, 3, 5, 6. The 4 wouldn't do it.
Because because there was no 1. 2s, 3s, 4s, 5, 6. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. 2, 3, 5, 6 is weird. But we could very well see it. Could just get Chinitsu at this point. Although, there it is.
You have to do it. You have to do it, Alex. It's too funny.
Yes, and it's guaranteed Peiko, right?
It is.
It's guaranteed Peiko because your triple and your pair are gonna be on the same side of the 4 bond.
Oh no!
Oh, the 2 pin gonna immediately pull in. It was the Suji.
Can't blame that discard. That way it's just too funny. I wanted the rest of the table to get to see that. What a funny hand. This game has been wonderful. I've enjoyed every single second of it so far.
Well, and it's still East 1. Andre's won twice in a row. And God, that fight, the only bad shape in the hand immediately gets filled. So this is a killer dealer hand. Can even accept the Dora Tuso. Although Joe across the way has the Chun in the pocket, just not much else, is pushing the Honitsu.
There's an overabundance of good shapes now for Andre. Diamond, Ishanten with Dora acceptance and Tanya possible. Looking very strong for another dealer repeat. On the right, Alex, not looking strong at all. This looks like it's going to be a fold, even with 2 Dora. Like, these shapes are a little sad. Still going to make a fight for it because you've got 2 Dora. But any second, we could see an Andre reach. Across the way, Joe. That looks like Honitsu if I ever saw one. On the left, Matthew. That's a lot of pairs. I'm trying to see a way to squeak some value out of this. Maybe Sanako. But most likely path is just a Richinomi.
Andre went into a tank quite a while before discarding the Tumon there, which I'm kind of curious about. The Tumon felt like a really natural discard, what with all the 1s and 4s we can already see being discarded. Perfect Ishanten. Was there anything, do you think Andre might have been trying to hedge that would have made Andre want to keep the Tumon?
No, I think you're right on. Like, you have to choose between the 2-3-3 shape and the 7-8-8 shape. And I guess with all the 1s being cut, it's 2 1s being cut, it's more likely that you get Tanya there. But also you can make the argument that if people are cutting it, they don't have it in their hands. It's more likely to be in the wall. In the end, Andre finds Tempai a different way. It didn't matter which way he went, would have gotten to the same place. 2 5-sos wait for Richie Tanya.
There's 2 2-sos left in the wall. All the 5-sos are held.
Takame to be drawn, and Joe will fight here. 7-pin pawn. Ishanten now for potentially Toy in addition to Honitsu Chun. Oh, and that's a sick draw for Alex, but gotta drop something in the pin zoom or maybe the 8-9.
You could drop 8. The 8-9 are both safe. So
the thing is, the 8-9 pin is just dead, right? With the 7s, there's only 1 left.
Mm-hmm.
Do you dare risk dropping into another pawn for Joe on the 8 or the 9? And the answer is yes. It was just fine. Andre still looking for Chuso.
Well, the red is live. It's hard to discard that red. Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, Alex could have called the 3-pin for K10. Chose not to, but that would have given the Chun to Joe, who I'm guessing would have conned. Oh, the pay comes out!
The pay!
Don't.
Pain for Andre, but Joe will be the beneficiary of 5,200 points, plus Homba, plus Ricci Stick. And, well, we have a bit of a swapperoo. Joe in the lead now. And we will advance finally out of East. It's so sad, as Andre, you've done all of this work. You're at 30-something thousand points, and the dealership finally passes, and you're back where you started. Below where you started.
And you had such a good weight.
Yeah, I mean,
it felt good.
Played that hand just fine. They just didn't win, and nothing you can do about it. So Alex will
Alex is
take the dealership here. Opens
Good
already.
timing.
Tunes the Dora. See one in the hand across the way for Matthew. None of the other players have it at all. And I get really nervous when somebody opens with a Yakuhai with an honor tile as Dora. I always feel like they're going to Dora Tanki.
So does that make you want to discard the Dora sooner or to never let go of it ever your entire life?
Both. Honestly, both. Depending on what I have in my hand. If my hand's good enough, I'll just throw it immediately once I see that. And if my hand's not so great, I'll just hold that Dora for life.
1、
Andre again with some really nice shapes. A pretty beautiful Ishanten.
Each.
It does get Tempai.
All right, fighting right back. Ricci, potentially Tanyao on the 6-0, but the 9-0 will also win here. 3
1、
tiles left in the wall. And Alex will fight for his dealership.
The only scary thing here is really no one sees the Dora.
Nope.
All right, that makes everyone feel a little bit better.
Yeah, Dora spotted. And 6-mon now safe. So if Alex finds... Oh, that's not the right So tile. It's Tempai, so you can cut the 7. He'll probably do that. Oh, goes with a safe tile, and it might win because Joe draws draws and discards.
Immediately.
Wow. This is, like, I was thinking Alex might be bold enough to brave the 7-mon for the wider weight, but turns out that wasn't the correct play. Go for the worst weight and win.
Well, so far we've seen 4 wins, and 6 Han among those 4 wins so far.
The biggest being Joe's hand.
Oh, that 3-so is a great pull for Andre. Just draws good.
That's all that needs to be said. Just draw good.
That would have been an awkward chi to take. Doesn't really want it. Alex's hand though, it's the East round. People keep getting these pairs of guest wins. There's nothing really to do with it.
Yeah, it's just your pair. Oh, it's a great draw for Matthew. Now finds Ishantem. Sort of Kutsuki Ishantem with the 8-pin and the 2-mon as your floating tiles. If you draw the 5-mon, you can have a Shoppa weight. If you draw the 5-mon, you don't even really want that Richinomi when you have potential for more value with Itsu or using the Dora in some way. Even here, you might see the 2-mon instead of the 8-pin.
That early 5-pin cut from Andre would seem suspicious. I would be worried of discarding a middle Pinzu so early. I'd be like, are they setting a Suji trap?
Matthew's gonna
But 7-pin ends up being the weight. Rishidora 1.
It would have been a really difficult choice if Matthew had retained the 2-pin. Do you Ricci with the Dora, waiting 3-sided, or do you still stick with the Kanchan and retain the Dora in your hand? It's kind of a tricky choice, especially if you're suspicious of this 8-pin. Tempai found for Andre to chase. 6-9 pin.
1、
which is really good in the wall.
Speaking of chasing, Joe gets there too on the 8-pin Dora itself.
Which is completely held.
4、
Yeah, let's give him the wall, but Joe would have been healing it no matter what. Only loses an extra 1,000 points as a result of being able to safely declare Ricci. And that will even things up pretty nicely here, moving into East 3.
And increase the average Han. That was two whole Han that time. So now 8 Han across 5 games.
Joe, in this dealer spot, hesitated a bit on that first pay, thinking, I wonder if I have Honitsu, and now draws the East. But it's too late, the pay was already cut. You could argue for a West or Chun there and still plan to call the East and angle towards Honitsu, but Joe says, I can still call the East. Double tone door is good enough for me. I could get Itsu as well for the full Mangam.
Well, I mean, and it's not like Honitsu is completely precluded here.
Yeah, that's true.
Like those shifts still exist. Like I feel like the 7-pin might be a helpful tile to make that happen. Although now you're just, if you draw 3-pin, you're just tenpai.
Speaking of 3-pin, let's go.
Ooh.
So now we get to see how greedy Joe wants to be. Some very interesting draws available in this hand. 8-pin, very ideal. 9-pin gives you another Dora. If you draw something like 2-pin or 6-pin, something that doesn't really, I guess 6-pin kind of useful, but 1-pin maybe. It's gonna give you Itsu. Khan?
Surely. Yeah. Flips the 4-pin as Dora. So that's another Dora. So this is now a Mongon.
I almost want to break Tenpai really after revealing the 3-pin. But it's still Tenpai. I don't think you're supposed to. There's so many tiles that improve Joe's hand, and hasn't found any of them yet. Now, if you draw the 1-pin, I don't think you even keep it because you already have your Mongon.
The 3-pin, for what it's worth, could very easily come in a Matthew's hand. Matthew's building is Ishanten from a 4-5-6 Sanshoku.
Uh-oh. This is the greedy draw. How much do you want to go?
I was gonna say 2-pin feels more secure in Matthew's hand than that 3-pin did.
Each.
All right, takes the Katagiri Richi.
Yeah, probably sees the three pins and says, "Okay, I think it should come out." Toyman is Tenpai for 5-8 Mon. Tanyao, Dora 1. Alex has 1 so if he wants. We'll drop it. Oh, Matthew's gonna shove it.
Don't.
And we'll deal into the Tanyao Dora. So again, expensive hand not winning out here.
Well, especially because there was 2 shots at Ura there for dealer. That easily could have blossomed into a Hanuman in several ways.
Absolutely. Very nice high five for Matthew.
Home.
But Alex going to try to speed up his own hand to try to catch up.
It has a lot of Kanchans, but being able to open definitely makes it more viable. And there's no shapes outside of Sozu, so currently is looking like Honitsu.
On another, I thought that was a Seattle thing to just fill those. Is Andre like an honorary Seattle member or something?
The Seattle of the East, New York is.
That's right. Oh, another great draw there. So, Shanten for Andre. Not a bad hand for Joe as well, but a couple Kanchans to work through.
Has a pair of Dora in the discards.
That's a little bit unfortunate.
Is Matthew? Okay. Well, there was probably trying to figure out the discard after the pawn.
Which I think is
more than likely the hesitation there. Yep. Ishanten now, but that chi doesn't do it for Matthew.
The general vibe right now is that no hand is going to be too expensive, given the number of Dora that have been discarded, the number of 8 pins that have been cut, making 9 very hard to use. Alex's hand is Honitsu, but unless it has Itsu or another Yakuhai, it's probably only 39. So Andre's just going to smash this Richi. Richi Nomi.
The only 9-so left is in Alex's hand. All 2 of the other 3-pin are still on the wall.
Alex is Ishanten here. And has the player to his left just discarding everything. So 2 draw/calling pools essentially. Matthew Tenpai.
And it makes it pretty easy for that hand to reach Mangan now, having drawn 2 easts.
1
Yeah, Matthew's just jamming as well. Everyone's jamming. Here goes the 1-so.
For the 5-so, 8-so, wait.
So 2-so, 5-so, and 8-so all deal in. 9-so deals in as well. 3-pin is the other weight here. Chi, Tempai, and now 4 and 7 deal in. All the Sozu lighting up. Who draws something bad first? Joe does.
ドン
And the cheap hand wins. What a surprise.
I think that's 11 Han over 7 hands now. I've been trying to keep count.
This has been so sad. And for anyone who has something expensive, just assume you're gonna lose. Don't bother reaching. Don't waste that 1,000 points.
Well, and dealers keep getting repeats, so it hasn't been short. They've played almost a full Hanchan. This is the 8th hand. I'm fairly sure.
And still the score is basically at starting as a result of these inexpensive dealings back and forth. Alex Ishanten already across the table for Richi Pinfu. Door is the Haku. We see one on the left, one on the right. The hand on the right is pretty interesting. It's kind of difficult to use the Haku, but if you pair it up, you could end up on a Shabo. And outside of that, of course, we have Dealer, who's drawing a lot of So tiles.
Is keeping the 2-pin.
That's what I like to see.
Dreaming of that 2-3-4 Sanshoku.
I mean, 3-pin, 4-pin draw, and the plan is set in stone. 1 So draw, and you're going Chinitsu.
I might start with just Itsu. I don't know that I'm jumping straight to Shinitsu yet.
Oh, come on. Have some fun.
We could go Churin. Why not? Well, there's only one 1-so that we don't see in our hand. Churin's still on the table. We might as well go all the way.
Is Al in the
4
chat?
away from Churin.
Where's my Al? It's Churin. Oh my goodness, just draw into Itsu.
There we go. No, you can't get Churin if you discard a 9-so. What are you doing? The 2-pin doesn't help you anymore.
ポン
Just watch. Mark my words. We're drawing 1-so next. The regret will start to sink in. There's a Dora Polar. Andre got the pair up, and the top came out from Joe. So that's another scary hand. But Alex trying to shut it down with West only.
the one Han hand naturally.
So obviously he's going to win.
1
Gee, Andre now Tempai on 6-9. So surprisingly less live than
A
you.
lot of those are
expect.
held. Yeah,
And
only 2
Joe's
of those in the wall.
Aggressively fighting for Tanya Nomi. Still a couple Shanten away. We're gonna see Richie with the fight.
6-pin, 9-pin. We see 3 6-pin, and do we see 0 9-pin? Are all 4 9-pins still in the
They're
wall?
all live. Versus 6-9, so which is 1 left of each. So
But it's got to be the 4-7 so because that's the cheapest hand.
Oh, it is!
No.
It
No.
is! It is the cheap hand. Of course it is. Why would we see anything else? Will we have
And
a
both of
Mongon
those
in this
hands
game?
were so valuable. Richi, Pinfu, Itsu.
Like Sumo Uda, you're looking at Hanuman. There's a Mongon for Andre. But nope. West only.
One Han.
Yeah, just like that. We have a tie for 3rd and 4th place. That's always exciting.
Yep, 1 full Hanchan into this game, and that's where we're at. A quick tune call for Matthew. No good shapes in that hand. Just like, yeah, there's only one way to win this.
Yeah, Andre's struggling. Maybe 1, 2, 3 Sanchoku, but we'll wait and see what the draws give us. On the right, there are shapes. Some of them are good. 2 of them are Kanchans. Across the way, Joe. Another one of those wait and see hands. So it looks like we'll be patiently building outside of Matthew, who will look to call.
Impatiently build,
Yeah,
I think is
that's
what
right.
that's called.
We're starting to see pairs come out. Hatsu Hatsu for Andre. 1-so, 2-so, 1-so, 2-so for Alex. That's always sad to see. That's when you know it's going to be a grind of a hand. And if you're Matthew, you're really happy to see that. That means that the other hands are a little slow in coming together. So you're less likely to get punished by a Ricci when you're vulnerable in an open state.
Andre inviting this 1-2-3 Sanshoku.
Yeah, I mean it was not looking very promising.
本
All right, Ishanten. Interesting.
Ooh,
So this is a greedy play. Definitely,
keeping Toy Toy alive because you
right?
can pawn and that would have been Tempai for the cheap hand.
Yeah, it's definitely
Matt,
not the efficient play, but
oh,
okay.
Richidora,
That's
2-mon 4-pin.
2600 is relatively expensive given the other hands we've seen so far. You can clip
It's above
Uda.
average.
Yeah. Sumo gives you 4000. Like, this is promising. And the weight is almost entirely live. There's only one of this Shabo held, and it comes out from Joe.
It's discarded because it's Suji.
Suji traps. Richidora Uda? Of course not. Alex, though, will take the lead. 35,000 points. This might be the most points that a player has had in this game.
It hasn't, yeah. It's like a lot of times you see one person gain a lot of points and then that same person feed all those points back, but it's been someone different winning just every single hand.
Ishan
One, this is so good.
Yeah, pick takes the widest shape now. Less opportunity for improvement later. You give up on any sort of cheat toy here, but your plan is to pull in the east and get to Tempai.
Well, but it's, I mean, but you're not the fastest. 5-pin, 8-pin for Matthew.
Yeah.
Already.
With double Yakuhai as well, 8-pin would be 3 Han, 3 whole Han.
That's unimaginable.
Surely that can't win then. Another pair for Alex. Not what he wanted to see. Likes the Suji 3-mon. Also, one of the 1-mons was cut already, so I think this makes sense. 6-pin draw will help Andre avoid dealing in. No,
Is discarding the mon shape so far.
Joe is in a little bit of trouble here. We'll hold all the pin tiles for now.
Chi.
Can technically use all of them, but it's becoming more and more difficult to do so.
Andre calls into Ishanten.
Now Tempai.
Now Tempai, yeah. 4-pin, 7-pin, which there's 4 left in the wall.
Alright, Alex Tempai gets his choice of weight, chooses the Shabo. Matthew's been so far ahead of the table all hand long is now going to deal in.
Oh, and there's the 7-7.
What is the value of this hand? 1 Han. 1500.
Hey, I guess we to be a little kinder about the average value here. A lot of these Han hands have been won by dealers, so there's been a lot of 1500s.
Yes, and of course that's not to say that these players are making mistakes for winning these one-hand hands. It's just very funny that that's all that's come out. Interesting no call in the tone this time.
I mean, as has been pointed out, there have been so many expensive Tempais, and that's what makes these cheap hands so valuable. Like really, if you think about it. the 7.
That's so sad. This is what you get for hedging cheat toy. Oh, should have hedged cheat toy.
God, this is just.
All right. It's Honitsu now. We just throw all the tiles of all the other suits. Just make it Honitsu.
That can't backfire, can it?
No, surely not.
Andre with 2 Yakuhai, but the South and the Haku not seen anywhere.
Yeah, 2 doors as well. You really want to win this one with Honitsu as well.
Is really considering that.
Oh, he's gonna go all the way because this is the route to getting Hanemon. The other path is just a Mongon. Tempai though for Joe. We're gonna see a Ricci win. Ricci Hatsu. 6-9. So it's great weight. 6's got to come out from Andre's hand. Maybe on Ipatsu turn. No, 1-mon first. Very good play.
Yeah, that 1-mon wasn't doing anything for us anyway.
Yeah, I got a little excited thinking we'd see another Han. Oh, but it's coming out now.
But here it comes.
All right. Ricci, Hatsu, Ura. Nash.
No.
That's okay. That's okay. That puts Joe back into third place.
Evens out the scores a little bit.
That's right. Now we just need
What's this, Joe?
Uh-oh. Joe. Oh, okay. I was gonna say Joe does have some dreaming tendencies, but the pay came out first and the dream died. Could still
Now
be like...
1, 2, 3 Sancho. Like Chanta, Sanshoku.
One can only hope. On the right.
You can do more than hope. You can chi.
Andre across the table. Not too bad. Lots of nice floating tiles, but maybe just cuts the penchant here? Feels a little weird to do that. Yeah, it goes with the 4 instead. Alex on the left, Tudora. Not immediately callable hand though.
Not immediately callable until you turn that into a toy. You get your 3 pawns and let everything else sort itself out.
Oh.
There's the 2-pin.
We're getting there. We're doing it. Things are happening.
God, what do you do if you draw another 2-pin though?
Oh.
Discard 1 so 3 so. Do you do the Apeco like?
Yeah.
How do you adjudicate
You're
that?
definitely supposed to cut 1 so 3 so, but
I mean, you're never getting Pinfu.
yeah, but it's just more efficient. That is dealer. I probably want to maximize efficiency. Oh no.
Manzu looks horrible to be waiting on. If you you could. Here's your chi. No, does it take the Tempai? Wouldn't that have been Tempai?
Yeah.
Chi 1, 2, 3, discard 3-pin, wait on 2 so.
Yeah, it's Chantanomi though. I mean, you can call the Haku and cut the west and not lose anything.
It's
but...
not Chantanomi.
I mean,
It's Chanta Sanshoku. That's 2 Han. That's
That's
twice
true.
as valuable than all the other hands at this table.
Yeah. Also, you have enough food to bump it up to 2 and 40. 3,900. That's not
Eek.
Gets
bad.
you over 30k. But instead, we're gonna have a Ricci across the way, waiting on just 6-pin. The 7 so is Suji to the Ricci tile, but
Ricci.
South is even better. Ooh, and now a Chase waiting
4-7.
4 Mon, 7 Mon. I saw so many pairs, I got really lost in that hand.
Yeah, Ricci Peiko. 3 tiles in the wall for that weight versus 1 for Andre.
Ugh.
This is so tough.
That's-
That's 2 Ricci's.
That draw does not spark joy at all.
So we'll try to find Tempai the safe way. Be hilarious if he turns this into Sohonitsu. Uh-oh, 7.
Yeah, that 7 Mon's rough.
Yeah.
4
Ricci Ipeco. Still
No
just
error.
2,600. No one can hit an Uda this game.
The only 3 Han hand was Yakuhai Honitsu.
It's going to be amazing if Alex finishes this game as the only player over 30k. Like, the odds of that happening with the hands that we've seen, very small, but now that we're at all last, the opportunity is there. Matthew in the dealer's seat. Hand is average or even below average.
Well, but Alex starting off with a pair of Shah is in a very good position to get the 5 extra. I mean, winning a 1 Han hand here would almost be a Mangan with the 5-point Uma bump.
Yeah, exactly. And Joe has the Haku, but no other value, and he's not close enough to the other players to just call for 1,000. So it's a real struggle for him to put something together here. Andre's doing quite well with this hand. That's
1
Tempai.
Yeah, because he's drawing. If Andre's drawing, he's doing well. That's
That's
all
true.
it really takes for him.
And Alex will break the Ipatsu. Regardless, Andre will be getting over 30k on this win. So, Alex can fight.
Boom.
It's a bit of a risky fight because you could fall to second. But you assume if Andre sumos, he'll be second anyway.
It's hard to fall much further than that, though. Third is the furthest. If you dealt into a manga, which this isn't yet, it needs 2 Ura.
Someone
it
finally hit
Ura!
Uda! And that's huge. I think that changes position now. Oh,
It
it's
does
close.
by 800 points.
Wow. Finally someone hits Ura, and it's worth something. It's worth a whole placement. Andre, the big winner with a solid 18.8 first place points. Alex, 8.0 second place. Matthew takes a minus 6.2 and Joe minus 20.6. This was a game of small hands. Huge tempi not winning.
Okay. All right. Here's what I want. Here's what I want you to appreciate. That round had 13 hands. There were 0 sumos.
Wow.
0 sumos. 13 hands, 13 deal-ins for a total of 5, 6, 8, 10, 14 plus 3 is 17 plus for 22 Han. So the average the average hand value there was less than 2 Han. Average hand value less than 2 Han. All Rons, no sumos.
That is crazy.
Tanyao, Jun Honitsu for 3 Han. Let's see. Joe, who ended up unfortunately in last place there, was one of the only people to win a 3 Han hand.
Yeah, that is wild. They've got one more. They've got one more game.
Have they started playing said game?
Yeah, starts in 30 seconds.
Look at that. Another table just not taking breaks. Who needs it? Which is funny because Andre's been pretty active in the chat. Like no break, like I guess, but like there weren't even really reachies there. There weren't a ton of reachies.
No, yeah, Andre, one of those players with the multitasking ability, and got a first place. I mean, could just win. Chatting and playing.
Maybe our commentary is just good luck for Andre. After I made all those comments about Hanamante being my favorite handle in the ARML, it gave Andre not sumo power apparently, but the power of the open hand.
All right. Well, this is probably the last hunt of the night. Let's see. Hope it's a good one. With
God, look at this opening hand for Joe.
Oh, Joe does this in the Manzu. I will never forget the infamous Joe Baimon, Shinichi Baimon, that opened my eyes to the Joe's true power. And so
the Haku is Mochi Mochi though.
Yeah, you always have to fear Joe when he's building something in the Manzu.
Joe immediately discarding 1-pin, 3-pin. I do not care that is a shape. I do not need it.
Yeah, this hand has a plan. And Toyman also has a plan. It's called the Haku and Win with Dora 2. The problem with that plan is that the White Dragon is Mochi Mochi. Paired up
this 8-mon, I would take this 8-mon chi.
Yeah, I like that chi.
Joe does not take it. Because now, I mean, you can still get Chi Toy. Yeah, 4 pairs.
Yeah, Toy's great too. Looking around at the other hands, the Alex on the right, very, very standard looking hand, holding a lot of these honor tiles. Dion Shanten for Richie Penfu. Maybe Tanyao. Across the way, Matthew might turn this hand into Chi Toy because he's not getting his Yakuhai calls. And on the left, well, Andre is hedging Itsu, but is likely going to be Richie or Richie Penfu, depending on how the So shape fills in. 7.
I feel like Tanyao's not unlikely to for Andre.
Yeah,
the 1-so and 9-so are going to be pretty natural cuts.
Tanya a little more likely if he held the 7-so pair, but by cutting the 7-so is holding all the shapes. Uh-oh.
Immediately gets the Cheetoy.
Joe didn't want it. Joe didn't want it. He says this is going to be more than just Cheetoy Nomi. I'm going to find a good weight. We're going to reach on it. It's going to be massive. How about Sotogawa 8-pin?
I really like Sotogawa 8-pin. That feels like a great way. I mean, especially because you're not getting to Honitsu anymore.
All right.
But the 8-pin are pretty held.
Yeah, I mean, South is... All right, does this hand look like Cheetoy? It is a little weird.
The discards are wacky enough. Like a 5-7 Kanchan discard into the Richi, but there was a 6-so right before the 5. Like, I don't know. I mean, you see Matthew
Chi.
immediately discarding 6060. Was Chitoi Ishanten, but doesn't keep it.
홈.
Oh, this pawn makes 8-pin totally Kabed. And Alex might fold right into this. We'll see. Right now, Tempai on the 7, so for Andre switches to the 6-pin. 6-pin is also very safe. It's half Suji and Kabe, so could see it come out.
Alex can still get Tempai though.
It's really hard. It looks like he just wants to fold in this 8-pin for Matthew. It's Shonpai, which is really weird, but so it's easier for Alex to drop it than Matthew. He's really thinking. He says to bow
Drops
out
the
of
8,
Chitoi.
so
Andre draws the 6-pin, but that came out already. 3-6 minus the weight now. Alex still with safety. Dora. How do you feel about Shonpai Dora?
not good.
All right, Dora Tonki it is. Pay Tonki, best Tonki. There's one left in the wall. Joe's got to be wondering how the 8-pin hasn't come out by now. Of course, Alex is the culprit. Alex is the reason why it hasn't. He has to survive one more draw. Is there a safe tile? Yes.
Whew.
And
Incredible.
After all is said and done, Joe gets about the same amount of points as Chitoi Dome. I guess this is a little bit worse. Would have had 2,400. And the Ricci stick back, so...
But Joe can still get the Ricci stick back.
Oh yeah, that's true.
The biggest obstacle of that is probably going to be Matthew's shot in the pocket and Andre's immediate Haku call. But this is still a pretty fast hand.
Yeah, Joe can't feel too bad about this high pie.
Chi.
Oh man, this Chanta maybe. Currently,
it's gonna be really hard for that to be Chanta. Yeah.
But you can easily pair up a 1-so or 9-so and be able to make that shift.
Man, if you can easily pair that up.
On demand, it's like, oh, I need a 1-so. Oh, I was really hoping that the 1-so
unfortunately, the commentator's curse doesn't work on yourself. You can't be playing your own games and be like, and Nathaniel really, really wants a 1-so here. And look at that. It's been summoned. Con?
Yeah.
No con.
Yeah, it's 2-2. The shape's too bad to con, I think.
5-6-7 Sanshoku is looking very real for Andre.
I think if the 8-pin comes out from Alex, Matthew will call it though. Hey, 5-6-7 live, waiting on the 7, as well as the 4. But who wants the 4, right?
Yeah, Andre will be like Joe and be like, I can get at least one more Han out of this.
Yeah, and there it is.
There's the 7.
Takame for one whole Han more. It's been very important in this series from what we've seen. So Andre, the early lead, moving into East 2. Ooh, is this Ishanten? Yeah. Chitoi Ishanten. But
Why
honestly, it feels more like Toy Dash. Honroto is possible.
Yeah, I would have kept that tune for that exact reason. Just to leave it alive.
I would have been sorely tempted to pull that 9-so. Oh, it's happening.
Well, there's still another 9-so out there.
Yeah.
You can get the next one.
Summoning 9-so. Hey, that's a Mon draw for Andre. That's a lot of Monzu across the table. Could even call this.
Could call the 1 now.
Yeah, let's go. That was the last 1 Mon, so he needs to make that decision immediately and decides to go for it.
That's a pretty good draw for Joe. Gets another complete shape out of it. Kind of sets the 5-so as the pair.
But now both of these honor tiles are a little bit suspicious against what Andre's putting together.
But now's kind of the time to discard them. It's so early. You see one call. Offsuit tiles are still coming out of Andre's hand.
Yeah, East came out. Dora came out. It passed. It's a breathe a sigh of relief there. The draws are coming together.
Yeah, Ishanten for Joe.
Alex now has Honitsu options.
Yeah, that 6-0 really opened up possibilities.
You gotta wonder.
Actually, I didn't realize that. Did Alex pass the South Pole?
Did a South come out? It
Yeah,
did. Oh, I
South
didn't
came
even
out
see
from
that.
Matthew. Yeah, I didn't either.
It is off wind. Like that's the sad thing about this as Honitsu is it's no value honors.
And Toy Toy, I
Pump.
suppose, has
Yeah.
that same issue. But I mean, still, like a possibly fast Tenpai as dealer, because you expect North to come out sometime.
Yeah, I think in the next couple of draws, Alex is gonna drop the one. So because the scarier that Andre gets, the more like the more you need. Oh my goodness, he just draws the one. So Kansai Chitoi.
Ooh.
Kang.
Oh Khan. Oh
Six
no.
Oh, flips the 6 mana Dora.
Oh, this suddenly
makes-
got very...
Andre all of a sudden has open Baimon.
Ishanten for a Paimon. 5-pin, and now Alex is willing to throw
Ishanten for
anything.
Honitsu.
Matthew holding all of these dangerous
Pump.
mon tiles. There's the pull, and that's Tempai. South 9, so each one's cut. Matthew Ishanten.
But Andre, at the very least, will have to discard
He
them.
can call this for Tempai, but he has to jam a 2-mon.
What?
I wouldn't risk it, personally.
Oh, I was looking the wrong way. I was looking at Joe's hand, and I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, Matthew on the right had that pulling opportunity. Oh, 5. Do you dare risk this?
Oh, I mean, there's technically no overflow yet.
Oh my goodness.
Like there have been some honors discarded. Now it'll deal in.
This is gonna be a 1-4 weight or the 3-mon weight?
Oh yeah,
The ones are all gone, so that's just Penchant 4. Okay,
they're not
Shabo, yeah,
connected.
that makes
Yeah.
sense. And immediately Matthew says, yes, I would like to discard this Mon tile that I couldn't previously.
All right, Alex found Tenpai.
Hoping for
Waiting on-
Chankan.
Pump.
That would be a Yaku.
Yeah, everyone finding Tempai now,
West-
hoping to draw safe
West is
tiles. There's,
fine.
each player has one. Safe. 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 And...
Sumo.
Oh no! Sumo!
Sumo! Tanya Dora Hite. And Matthew steals it away. The safest of tiles, and hello.
Kang.
What?
There's the Khan. Ishanten
What?
now. East
And
is
now north and east are the two Doras. Like what? What?
good luck putting hands together now. Matthew's got such great shapes. Pei comes out immediately. Alex is Ishanten for Chanta on the left.
Pump.
Tempai now. Just gonna try to shut this hand down before someone can reach. There are 3 7 so in the wall. That is the only weight. And somehow Alex has one of the few pairs that is not Dora.
Matthew really thinking with this 4-so draw. Yeah, discards the 4-mon.
This hedges
can
Ipeko and
shift
Toy
to-
Toy.
Yeah. That's right, this hand is still closed.
Sumo.
Does not call the 4-so, and the 7-so immediately gets drawn by Alex for the sumo.
And just like that, we're back to cheap hands again.
We got to see 1-3 on hand. That was
exciting. That was by
we
nature
have
Hote.
we have to float on that.
Right, East 4 now. Andre Dealer. Nice shapes. Could see a very interesting shop in the future, but it's looking like it's moving in the direction of Pinfu. Quick call on the left from Matthew. Natsu only currently trying to make use of that Dora. On the right,
Doesn't have 5 blocks, but the blocks that Matthew does have are very good.
Yeah, I mean, if you could consider the Dora block and say you have 5. The idea being you can always Dora Talkie if you need to. Joe doing quite well on the right as well. 2 away from
Does not
Tenpai.
take the Atazuke Chi.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Draws the Forso. So is that Ishanten now? No. Yes, it is. Just not a fantastic one.
It's one of those Ishantens that you look at and say, this is Dian Shanten. There's only one tile I draw that gives me a tempo I want. Now it's a good shape saver. Can also call the Chu now for a 2-hand hand.
7-mon's a great fill for Alex. Tempai now for Matthew, waiting on 5-so, 8-so.
I think that's the fastest door discard I've ever seen. You know how it goes. The faster you drop it, the less likely it is to be called. And Joe speeds up to match Tempai.
And Matthew immediately draws a dealer pile. Katagiri's it, but it still deals in, whether it's Tadashi or Sumagiri.
It didn't discard it fast enough. Would have passed otherwise. Joe will now sit in the dealer seat. 3 players above. High Pi wants to be Pinfu. Love to draw around that door 8-so. On the right, there are 2 of the Dora. The East pair less useful now that we've entered the South rounds. Technically 2 away from Tempai, but Alex will want to improve the shapes a bit before slamming a Ricci. Across the way, Matthew has the final Dora. A lot of So tiles in accompaniment. But a completed pin sequence means that it's very likely to just be Ricci Dora. I don't think we're very likely to see that con. How about you? 6-so, like...
I'm trying to think like what would have to happen for that con to come. It just makes the 8-so so hard to use.
Because if you draw the 7-so, you're already Tempai.
How do you feel about the 2-so weight? Seems fine.
Now that we have the 3, 4, 5, 6 shape, you could try to move away from it, but I still don't think that means you're cutting the 6s. We'll see as moves are being made around the table. We saw Dora Pon on the right from Alex, so table on high alert. The old call the Dora and find your Yaku later. Anticipating a Tanyao.
Yeah, it's going to have to find an extra block there.
Yeah, slams the Ricci because Sanshoku's too much value to pass up. That will be a chi from Alex now. Shot that.
The Forsos are pretty held. Only 1 left in the wall. The rest in hand.
Does Matthew want to sow some chaos? Or just drop Dora?
I mean, if you draw 7-pin, I mean, even that draw. Now you have Sanmin-chan, Ryanmin, Ishanten, 8-pin passes. So, like, now if you con, you have a not bad shot at drawing into Tempai. Now, even better.
Yeah, super wide. How? Okay, 9-so, 9-so. Full Kabe with the 8s being gone. That's Tempai. Alex is choosing his weight form on a safe, so we'll pick the 2-pin. There's 1 2-pin left versus 1 4-so. And both of these hands are expensive. Matthew is out.
Yeah, that extra 3-so really made things bad.
Andre actually in trouble here. Oh no, Matthew drops it. And that's going to be Tanya Dora 3. Finally a Mangan. We found one.
That, because how... Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. I mean, obviously it's Suji to Joe, but I mean, all the Dora was in Alex's hand. open.
Yeah, I mean, Alex could have been on anything though at that point, and Matthew was really
Pump.
running out of save tiles. He had all the 6s, and he had the 3 as well, so like that Suji was terrible. It ended up actually being safe,
Pong.
but
That's one of those times, if I really start to freak out and I'm like, nothing in my hand looks safe, sometimes I'll be like, you know what? I don't believe in Renshan, but I do believe in the ability to draw a safe tile from the dead wall.
oh, so you con just to find the safe tile?
Just con to find the safe tile. I mean, if you find a safe tile, even if you flip them more Dora, if you don't deal into it, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, I actually think that's a really interesting spot. I wonder if Khan was actually correct there in any world. Like, if it was closer to the end, I think it makes some sense. But I think there were still like 3 draws left, something around that mark. Maybe 2 draws.
Right,
Oh,
which would have
wow.
been rough. Chun Tonki for Matthew. Once cut Chun.
I like Chun better
I
than
was-
4-7.
Yeah, me too. The only Tonki I probably would have switched for would be 3 so.
Mm. Eight, not particularly useful draw. Shabo. Well, I like Shabo better than 4-7, so
Yes.
it also
But
means
the-
we didn't get to take the 6-9, although that wasn't amazing here.
Everything is held pretty much though. Just 1 4-mon in the wall for this new weight for Matthew.
There's a decent chance that Joe deals in, though. Oh, he doesn't. He cuts the 7. So I guess 4-7 was good. Wow, that's a surprise. Is this Chitoy hunting, I wonder?
This is one of those hands where if you're keeping Chitoy alive, I mean there's just so many good Ryanmen in this hand.
Chi.
I see. Joe's just hunting Tong down because he has 2 Dora. He wants to call something. Just hasn't really gotten anything to call yet.
And you can call Pwn
No.
from anybody. Oh, but now the 8-mon's dealing in.
Hmm. Feels
That-
like
that
1K
1K
is a bit better. But yeah, just 1,000 points. So
But that's enough to drop Joe underneath 30K.
yeah, well, when he wins a Mungon, you won't have to worry
Boom.
about that.
I tell myself that every time I deal in. And as the Hanchan progresses, it gets more and more. The first time I deal in, it's like, all right, when I win my Mongon, it'll be okay. Next deal in, okay. When I win my Hanuman, I'll be all right. Next deal in, okay. When I get my Sanbaimon, it's all gonna be fixed.
Glad to see that.
Ishanten already for Matthew.
One call away and a nice 2,900 point hand. Although depending on the weight that's taken and how he wins it, could get a bump in foo. Oh, speaking of bump and foo, there it is. Didn't even need the Shabo. Question. If you draw 4 so, what are you doing?
Oof. I'm oofing. Another Dora? I mean, I think I'm... God, it's just 8-mon is the only tile I feel like I'm going to be able to pawn. That's my only hang-up.
Yeah. 4 so
Like,
not
at this
expecting.
point,
Chi.
if I draw 4 so at this point, I might not want to pass
It
it
is.
into Andre's hand. We con the 9 so, though.
He would have drawn the 4 so if he didn't con. Oh, I wish he didn't con. I wanted to see what he'd do. I'll have to ask Matthew
would
about
you-
that later.
What would you do?
I
Well,
think-
there's the 4 so, but now it's hard. It's just been cut.
Yeah, so I think before the con, I might switch, but afterwards, I will not. Like, if it was early enough, I might do it, as bad as it is.
Now taking the Furiton 3-pin, 6-pin weight, that 5 so does not deal in because Alex doesn't have a Yaku. So we have 2 people
Each.
tip by, and neither one of them can call wrong. That's not the usual in an A1 match. 5-pin will deal in that.
Sumo.
Two
Oh,
gems.
it even
Oh
works.
well, it doesn't matter. You just get it. Why not?
This is A1, folks. Yeah. Oh, I just saw Korak's comment. Yes, similarly, I'm cutting the 9 so.
Well, we're back to basically tied now in South 3. That sumo really evened up the field.
This has been such a chippy series from the games that we've seen. I know we came in game number 2 with a very dominant Andre, but I believe the first game of the series was also very close all the way through. This table seemingly well suited to preventing each other from winning big hands.
That 8-pin was a great pickup for Alex. Makes this a much better 2 away.
Yeah, Alex looking good. Dealer also pretty promising hand here. Ooh, 1 pin gives you Itsu thoughts. See, on the right, there's a Keiko chance, and we'll take the Richie Dora 1 instead. 6-9, so is the weight. 1 of each tile left in the well. Khan.
Kang.
And Norin-chan, but flips another
But
Dora.
does flip a
himself.
Dora, yeah. And gets quite a bit of foo.
And Matthew might fight here. What's safer?
Ooh.
4 pin or
Richie.
6 so?
Long.
I feel like the...
Oh! Oh my
Hey!
goodness!
What? Flips Khan as Ura twice? What?
We found where all the Han went. Matthew did not deserve that.
Think I've ever... Ura 8 on 1 tile?
Hanamandra is gonna have to change his name to 11 Andre.
Gee.
What in the world was that?
That was more Ura than Hanamandre has in his name. He had a Baimon just in Ura.
That was
And
Richie.
all...
That was Richie Dora that conned into Richie Dora 2. Like, I was thinking maybe flip 1, 2, get a Mongon, maybe flip 3, get a Hane. Just
But no.
Okay, we've got a new game here.
Totally. Like, what do you do if you're Matthew now?
It's South 4, you can't do anything. You just win a hand and prevent Joe from getting over 30k.
Because that is... Okay, so that is your goal. That's your big goal. And Alex... Well, Alex isn't really benefited by ending the game quickly, other than it prevents someone from dragging Alex underneath 30k. Being in second with all 3 people above 30k, or with only 2 people above, it doesn't change anything for you.
I mean, look, Andre is showing no signs of stopping, so I would like to just win a hand and prevent the game from continuing any longer.
I don't... especially as Matthew. Like, once someone hits me with Ura 8, I think I'm pretty checked out.
Yeah, that's one of those mahjong moments where you look at it and you laugh. Because if you don't laugh, you've got nothing going for you.
If you don't laugh, you're in for quite the cry.
Yeah.
But this Ishan, a nice Ishanten for Andre. Oh, I was about to say, because you could just palm the south. But hey,
Right,
just draw your Otozuke tile.
Ends up having to discard the door, which is a little unfortunate, but Tenpai's Tenpai. Cut Forso, go Hatsutanki. Get a little extra value out of this.
I'm just waiting for the non-con. I can't wait to see what Dora gets flipped.
On-con reveal. Okay, you don't reveal East yet. You reveal like 1 mon. And then I guess there's no Richie. So that can't happen. Alright, here we go.
There it is.
Kang.
Takes it.
What'd I say? Wait for Hatsu.
Would have gotten the Rinchan. That was
Well, it would have been
5 so's.
it would have been different.
If you just
Tenpai.
no, you're right. Would have still been
You have
waiting on
Chanta.
Amon.
You have Chanta. All right, where's the 8 mon? There are 3 visible to us.
The 7-mon Tenpai is for Joe on the right. It's not enough to get over 30k. Well, no, you have Dora. No. Dama, because you have enough. The 5-so Dora is what gets you there. There's also several improvements to this.
Wait, this is Tanya Dora 1, right? Oh, Dora 2, okay.
Or 2, because of the 5-so.
All right, that will be enough.
Are there any upgrade cheese you
This
would
is the
take?
5010 upgrade that I think he'll pass. It's too late to reach this, so I think you just pass it and cut the 2-mon. Or just throw it back, okay? 2-mon had just come out, so it's a little bit safer.
Now that's very into the road Tenpai for Alex waiting 3-so.
So Andre considering
3
breaking
pin,
Tenpai
6 pin.
here so that the game ends, and he will do that. And Joe
Sumo.
Sumo, so the game would have ended that way.
It didn't really matter.
Sumo
And
Tanya-
that gets Joe
Let's
Joe
see.
above 30k. Importantly, does not drop Alex underneath. It's a good thing Alex did not call a Ricci, even though that was a very valuable hand. It was Sanshoku Pinfu, Dora 2.
Yeah, but as a result of the Sumo, he will take second place. So Joe grabs the positive 9.6, and Alex will take a positive 0.7. Andre minus 37, plus 37.2, big first place as a result of that Sanbaimon, which I assume will be clipped and shared.
It has already been clipped.
Very good.
Korak has already
Thank you,
loaded the
Korak.
clip in.
Excellent. I will be rewatching that later. And unfortunately for Matthew, very, very unlucky results to this game as a result of that Uda 8. Uda 8. That's something you hear too often. And it's going to be a very interesting positioning now in the A1 standings as Andre climbs from minus 100 to minus 7, picking up over 90 points in 2 games. Joe still hanging out at the minus 25 zone, pretty safe in this early portion of the game. Matthew and Alex, there's a clump of the 70s and 80s, me being one of those players down in the demotion zone. So early days still for A1 division, but it's a very exciting action taking place.
I'm just shaking my head. I'm just still like realize, okay, here's my thing. That Khan created more Han in one hand than we saw in 7 combined hands of the earlier Hanchan.
And this game was looking to be the same as that last one. It was very, quiet, not many large hands until that soundbite. But incredible for Andre picking up 2 big wins. And I think that is the last game of the night for us. But before we go, I did want to mention a couple of the other results from the series we were watching. That B3 matchup with Alon, Brian, TC, and Emily. Alon took a win, plus 33.8. Brian got the plus 15.9 second place, which is unusually large for a second. And there was a C1 series going on with James, Andrew, Kaysen, and Chris, where James picked up a first place in that game. And I believe in the earlier game, it was Chris picking up a big first place with plus 59.1. He won Hitsumoto Hanemon and then followed that up with a dealer Hanemon to just skyrocket himself in the standings there. And one more game from that B3 series, Brian took a first place in game number 3. So overall, Brian doing quite well in B3. I think he has 6 firsts, 4 firsts, and well, let me check that just to make sure.
Yeah, 4 first, 4 seconds is
Okay.
what he. So he did. I mean, he just alternated every first second, first second, just every single time. And like we predicted, got firsts. Although we only got one more first, but it's still in third.
Right.
As 4 firsts and 4 seconds, and is still not top 2 in B3.
Okay, and the only other game we have missed is the second game from that B1 series. Kayla took a first place, plus 25.1. Edwin the second with a positive 6.9 in that game. I think that just about does it for us. Thanks so much, Tucker, for hopping in. It's always a blast doing commentary with you.
Yeah, that was incredibly fun. There was a lot of nonsense tonight.
Yeah, thanks everyone in the chat for all your wonderful comments. And I see you, Matthew. Yeah, you and I both will be fighting back this season. We'll also be fighting each other in the championship game pretty soon. We were looking at scheduling for this week, but there's some Armo games happening, so it's maybe going to happen next week instead. Looking forward to duking it out there.
But Nathaniel, how are you gonna broadcast it if
That's
you're playing in it?
that's
I
that's
don't understand. I'm confused.
it's going to be a challenge, but I'll do my best. No, we'll find some excellent commentators for that. Hopefully, we can produce a great show. Um, and of course, for anybody who's interested in being part of the show for the next season or even this season as a substitute player, you can absolutely sign up for the American Ricci Mahjong League on our website, americanricci.org. A few exclamation socials in the chat. You can definitely see all of what I'm about to mention. But yeah, hop to our website, americanricci.org. The registration for the spring season is right on the front page. I think you have till March 11th to set up, so plenty of time. But if you do set up early, you can join our pool of substitute players that are able to get a little bit of early experience in the league and have access to all of our What Would You Do channels and all the other learning resources that we have. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter/X and YouTube to be alerted to when we go live and also to watch our previous broadcasts. This one will be up on the YouTube channel at American Ricci on YouTube pretty soon, and you can catch all the previous broadcasts from this season, for the past year, from the year before that. We're in year 3, so we've got a lot of content there, and I'm sure you'll enjoy all of those videos. Well, any final thoughts, Tucker, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, three so no longer matters at all. Three so is dead. Two so is the only tile that matters from now on.
You heard it here. Sanzo is dead. Tuso, the new Colt. That. Thanks everybody for tuning in. See you in the next broadcast. Have a good one.